Mr. Abe, ni aje? Haya. Mr. Fikra, nimekuwa muda, ni aje? Karibu sana tu Sanaa kwa Sanaa. Sunday sessions, leo ni another Sunday session. February inaisha bana. Yaani Feb hivi tu ishaenda. For some reason nimekuwa nikibelieve that this coming week ni wiki mpya ya March. Sijui if it's been the same for you, but for some weird reason nimekuwa nikifeel kama this coming week tunaingia wiki ya kwanza ya March. Na niko na video za kuedit za MWEs na ningoje tu. But what is time? Haya basi. Tuanze shughuli ya leo iliyotuleta hapa hizi masaa. Haya, Sanaa kwa Sanaa, Sunday sessions vile nimesema. Asante sana kwa kuwa hapa. Asante sana for checking this out. Iwapo unaiwatch after the fact, kama ni hapa on Instagram ama kama ni hapa on YouTube kwenye unaionea, hiyo statement ina apply. Shukran sana for checking this out. Nilikuwa nataka tu fanye a quick recap kama kawa, yeah, since the last time tukue hapa up until today, then to bring on a guest kwa set atuambie ma 1212. Nimesema Feb inaisha, kuna something that tumekuwa tukifanya, an exercise that tumekuwa part of since February ianze. Leo imekuwa day 20. A few moments ago nimetoka kumaliza my part of the exercise, nearly jump on the live. Otherwise ningesema nikuje live kwanza, time nilifika mtaani, then nifanye baadaye. Unpredictability hizi lives hauwezi depend on, ni very unreliable, so ni safe ufanye the opposite. Wanze na shughuli uko nayo alafu ndo nikuja hapa. Plus nilikuwa naambia Abe before this session that lazima ni record my reviews for the projects that nafanya, so obviously I had to listen to the project, nifanye my review, ni record, ndio nikuja hapa. We shall get deeper into the same baadaye. Then next week tutakuwa na a conclusion of this exercise that tumekuwa tuki participate in. Iwapo tutakuwa na more guests, the better, watu waje wa share their experiences. Babo alikuwa hapa kuongelea experiences zake 2 weeks ago. Leo tutakuwa na another guest, and then next week tukimaliza itakuwa the final weekend, the final weekend of February, so itakuwa fiti tukiwa hapa na tuizungumzie sote. But with that being said, last week kama ulihata nimesema unaweza sijasema, but the video iko available on IG na YouTube. Point nilikuwa na make ni you can watch that video hapa once again on IG na hapa on YouTube. Nilikuwa na Timo GK alinijoin as our special guest of the morning. Session ilianza Sunday ikaisha Monday kama kawaida for 2 hours and almost 10 minutes. Tulianza kuongelea mentorship na Lexus Mshairi. Edu mwenye ako hapa si mtu wa mentorship. Timo GK pia si mtu wa mentorship. But tulikuwa tuna dissect topic ya mentorship in Kenyan art from the perspective ya kukuwa na a mentor who's an artist. Ilikuwa swali kutoka Lexus Mshairi, a budding Kenyan spoken word artist, a budding musician. Akona an album, Dreams Are Tomorrow, ambayo tulireview and the review is out. Feel free kuicheki pia iwapo una time, like that's something that is up your alley, consider kuicheki. Mtu niko naye hapa alihepa hiyo kazi so kwa hiyo review hatutamjudge, ndio akae hapo tu kwenye yuko. Ebu mbona kwenda kwa Nyash for show ya Gig Dynamics? Why didn't you go to see Nyashinsky? Our dear Hazel is here. Hi Hazel. Leo pia tunakupatia podcast ya kusikiza ukisomea exam sama. Kafura ni aje? Nikiona Kafura hapa hii time najua either kuna game yenye iko on na ni half time ama something along those lines. But shukran sana Kafura. Ebu nasema you had no idea he was performing. How? Na Nyasha alikuwa kwa poster za hiyo event ya Gig Dynamics since wiki ianze. Ni alikuwa anafunga performance. Roger alikuwa huko akanyeshewa mbaya. It was fun anyway. Ngenda usikie Nyash na Chris Kaigo akiperform hapo tu. Dance usijali, hatukujaji. Hapo tu. Usijali, hatukujaji. Ngenda usikie hizo vitu. Kafura anajitetea, excuse me please. Aniambia, excuse me please, young man, I am a serious person who was waiting for you to go live. It's been a while Kafura, tumekuhata sana kwa hii space, tumekuhata sana. Kafura in fact is the perfect person pia mwenye tungeongeza kwa MWE. Nimekuwa nikihave conversations na Kafura kuhusu music na takes on projects that we've listened to. Obviously not projects nimekuwa nikisikiza. Mimi hakuna mtu amesikia vitu nimekuwa nikisikiza. Obviously the other people kwa hii challenge wana play safe, wanasikiza vitu international. Wacha wana wakianza kujitetea. Mimi vitu nimesikiza watu hawajasikiza. So but at this point in time there's nothing left for me to listen to. Nikaa nimesikia kila project ishaitoka. Saa itabaki nimeanza kusikia international music sasa, wazuko ndio nalegea. But Eba amesema they need to fire marketing department. Hiyo kitu sijui how much wali market, but najua ni kitu that people knew about. And the final day, which was yesterday, Nyasha kiperform. Alikuwa pia na a session where alikuwa kwa interview, niliambiwa kulikuwa na a number of people, so ni something that people were looking forward to, and watu waliattend hiyo session kama ni the interview na the performances. Kulikuwa na other people, other acts. Kulikuwa na Sero, kulikuwa na Mutoria, kulikuwa na Bambupelo, kulikuwa na Hornsphere. Then days prior kulikuwa na other acts too. Kwa page ya Gig Dynamics, ama was it page ya Gote, kwa Gig Dynamics niliona Anjerai, I think alikuwa part of the performers pia. So it seems ilikuwa a week full of activity building towards the weekend, wakimaliza shughuli yao jana. Roja angeshare more on the experience of the event, kija kwa the performances as well as the interviews, but since we are here and this is how we do these things at Sanaa kwa Sana, tukikuwa candid na sentiments zetu. Lisema the audience members walikuwa na maswali ambayo hayakufurahisha. Hazel, tuambie if you're okay, if you are providing podcast content for you while you're studying for your exams, tuambie. But kando na audience na hadhira kuuliza maswali, the interview ya Nyash ilikuwa na yale maswali ya kuuliza msanii, tuambie vile ulianza mziki. And the like. Yo, if you're here, niaje Alfi, shukran sana. Alfi, Kafura, Abe na Hazel. Kuna an interview that is forthcoming. Hopefully, niweze kuirelease towards the end of this week. There's a plan I have ya kuirelease. Nataka the last video of that series itoke on the 27th of February. I think that will be on Monday next week. Itakuwa Sunday. Even more alignment. Itakuwa Sunday. Nimesema tutaongelea MWE hiyo Sunday ya mwisho. Hopefully tutakuwa na more guests wenye wali participate. Hata wenzetu wa Nakuru wenye walianza safari lakini wakashia safari katikati. Walishukia mahali kwa njia. Tutawahanda tuneka tunaweza wapata for that session. But the interview series that naongelea, I am really excited about it. Ni mtu mnajua, ni msanii mnajua, na I'm looking forward to releasing that interview series. Tulikuwa na amazing conversations, beautiful conversations. So ni kitu yenye kwanza Alfi itakubamba sana na najua kile nasema. So kauja tu follow pale YouTube Sanaa kwa Sana, consider kusubscribe na ungoje those videos from the interview series coming out hopefully kwanzia the end of this week. So I was thinking Friday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, back to back. Juni 4 parts. I think naifanya in 4 parts. Mark this. Kama unaiwatch on YouTube, consider kucheck out that interview. It's the only interview anyway itakuwa available kwa hii channel ya Sanaa kwa Sana up until tufanye interviews zingine. Unajua tumereview kazi za wasanii wengi sana na si ni maheta, so we can only have very few reviews in our very few interviews kwa our career ya kukuwa interviewers. So it's one, if this is way later and you're watching this months and years after the video came out. It's one of the interviews on this channel. If you've done others, yeah, if not, it's the only interview kwa hii channel. So naona kina Kafura washaanza some discourse hapa. Alikuwa nasema I'm not that serious though, ninge give up in 2 days. Hii challenge, hiyo consistency ni ya wachache for sure. Let me continue being a reactor to what those participating are saying. It's just uliongelea tu a few. Are you being selective about your participation? Speaking of, Abe, I still owe you a voice note about a project you divulged on. Then the Abe akasema, I'm going to be speaking on that project here shortly, so tunangoja. Then Hazel, I have an exam. Yes, I think, I don't know. But I'm too mentally exhausted to read. I'll listen on and chip in, of course, where needed. Shukran sana kwa kuwa hapa, Hazel. Watu wenye wanafanya mitihani bana. Exams were a horrible part of my learning experience, just for the sake of being exams. But thank you for being here. So Kafura amesema okay, voice itataipiwa hapa, so tunangoja. Nilikuwa nasema wiki iliyopita hata Kafura pia angekuwa part of that conversation juu ni befitting. Nilikuwa na guest after tuongele mentorship na Timo na Lex kuhusu na Abe kuhusu concept ya mentorship. Tuli delve into other concerns za African literature. Hazel was with us as well. Then with that came idea ya African literature, specifically West African literature being poverty porn. Kafura, please type yes or no if you concur or you disagree with the statement. Timo GK alituambia West African literature ni poverty porn. I'm gonna promote poverty porn more than anything. Then tuli establish that Timo alikuwa anatuseti, alafu akakuja hapa akarant mbaya sana kuhusu kazi za spoken word artists wenye anapublish vitabu. Kumbe alikuwa pia ana unleash sentiments za watu wengine hapa kama kina Abe and others who are not here. And when that discussion shall be held on our channel, I cannot wait to see the outcome. So that was our discussion last week. Very interesting. As usual. That's always how our sessions end up being. Then anything else? That was that. Hiyo wiki, the previous week nilikuwa nimeshare reviews that tulikuwa tumefanya that week. Basi nilijaribu if I managed to release those reviews within the same week, cause naona from the margins 12th February, that's by Dofan Suicida, Wada, The Healing of a Nation 12th, Scam Cardinali, Easy, Feb 13th, Lexus, Dreams Are Tomorrow, Feb 14th, then Omugunda, Folktales and Other Short Stories, Feb 15th. We put in the work basi, nikadeliver. Kama uja watch any of those reviews that you are interested kwa your lineup, consider kuzicheki. They are lengthy ones, 30 minutes minimum, so unaweza chukua the cue from Hazel na uzisikie ka podcast ama kwa background as you do something else, something that najua kuna a time that Babo does the same, akisikizanga reviews zetu tukimprovidea comedy akifanya shughuli zake. So we do this for you. Then another hectic week juu ya kusikiza projects for the sake of kufanya reviews. Leo tulikuwa na another involving morning. We did 4 reviews na 2 reaction videos. The reviews that tulifanya were MC Sharon's The Last Will and Testament, Chris Kaiga's Adventures of Chris Kaiga, Robbie who alikuwa part of MWE tukianza, yeye ndio mtu wetu Nakuru mwenye part of watu wa Nax wenye waliachia mahali, but amekuwa part of this na niko grateful for that. Hiyo ndo album alianza nayo for MWE. Siku ya kwanza tumereview the album. That video is forthcoming. Tukareview Misimu by Sero EP. Then tukareview Lisa Odward Noah, her self-titled debut album. Those are the 4 videos that should be forthcoming hii wiki. Please wait for them. Zinakuja. They are coming through. So yeah, a lot of work that tumefanya. Tukafanya pia reaction videos 2. The last time tulikuwa na Abe for the reviews, we didn't manage to. Tulianza kurecord at 5 AM, so we didn't manage to even have Abe for review ya Wamugunda. Kafura, sijui kama umesikiza the EP. This time tulianza earlier, then the reviews zilikuwa chache, tukaweza kusqueeze into reaction videos. Calligraph na Nyash, then a cipher, Hennessy Cipher 3.0, which ili emphasize the reason that tunafaa kufanya the discussion that tuliset na nilimention kwa the reaction video kuhusu Kenyan ciphers being dead, and we shall. It's about time sasa. It's about time, because that Hennessy Cipher 3.0 tulishayongelea kwa review, kwa reaction that should be coming out. So I have those videos to edit, and then I have videos za MWE to edit, zinaningoja. 19 videos. Are they 19? 19, because I nilianza kuedit ya day 1. I've been recording reviews daily. Then I have the interview series to also edit. Nakwambia. Na bado capitalism is on my ass. But what's life? So, acha tukaribishe mgeni hapa. But before that, Kafura amesema poverty porn. What are people reading, please? As a person who has been reading African authored literature, that is hella biased. There are spirits, there is Biafran war, there is feminism, there is Africanism, there is bad governance, there is Pan-Africanism. Hiyo mwisho ni mimi nimeongeza. Kuna na nilimention kuna mythical tales pia. Kuna when you read now authors wa West Africa who've been in the diaspora, you encounter themes na settings tofauti, but there was hiyo sentiment ya timu wakiongelea the setting and a lot of the images that they use in their writing, and some of the motifs that we also encounter kwa their writing. Alimention nani kwa discourse yake? Alimention Chinua na akamention Chimamanda, Nigeria. Afu najua kitu interesting that I also noted, I believe Kafura might have done the same. being in campus studying literature, and it might have been a discussion that mlihave whenever watu wana mention African literature. People think about three regions. Watu hufikiria East Africa, West Africa na Southern Africa. North Africa inakuanga peripheral na ni watu wachache sana hata ufikiria wakimention African literature. Ukiambia hata watu wataje, hata mimi included, North African authors, inakuanga a bit difficult, but this is something that we came to note years back, and the kind of access that tumeji allow to have with African literature ama that tume have based on a number of factors. With that being said, when people think about West Africa, inakuanga Nigeria na Ghana. Ukienda sana tuongeze Senegal, but mostly Nigeria na Ghana ndio the countries that come up sana, or that people refer to kwa mind zao wakiongelea West African literature. Yes, so the poverty porn ita come up kwa based on what Kafura amesema, with spirits, Biafra, feminism, Africanism, bad governance. Yes, but and we talked about neo-colonialism, and mona authors of the time walikuwa preoccupied na hizo themes and where walikuwa wana draw from. So if you read books from that era, definitely the images, the setting, where they are drawing from, their ideologies, definitely zitakuwa heavily influenced, and the environment, something that we talked about also, tukibring kwa level ya wasanii ku create na wasanii ku choose themes wanazozungumzia kwa sana yao. A few weeks back when we had Babo na Ivia on the live kuhusu content creation, and that also touched upon creating art. And ndio Kafura anasema how do they mean, and share sport, but Kafura anasema but Chinua at a time he grew up as a writer, man's only had the debris of colonization to look at for inspiration. So environment ni critical sana to consider. We even have any West African literature. Oh yeah, in this I only have Nigeria. I only have Ghana Must Go, na The Fisherman. I don't think I have any other book here. But don't be fooled, I have read so many. Oh, niko na Zimbabwe, The Hairdresser of Harare. So that. Then Kafura anasema, anyway, I think also we can't say it is poverty porn because Africa continues to be poor courtesy of some of the things mentioned above. Ukiangalia war ya Biafra na vile ili affect Nigeria, crazy. To this date, bado kuna those divisions looking at the state, and kuna these different nations within the state, na kuna kuangana hizo political, tribal, civil tensions that are still alive to date. Chinua aliongelea hiyo ya Biafra kwa kitabu chake, one of his memoirs, I can say, if you can call it a memoir. But kitu kama hiyo ndio kile Kafura anasema ina affect the development na state of the continent na the countries of this continent. Ukiangalia bad governance, rudi back to colonialism na neo-colonialism and what our politics have been. through the years katika hizi nchi tofauti, kisha colonization, then now kuna hizo concepts za feminism, also as a response to systems that have been dehumanizing na oppressing women and other thought processes na ideologies coming up to respond to other situations oppressing different people. Kafura anasema when Cardi B was starting out, she said she couldn't sing about cars she didn't own. Na Kafura ameamua tupeleke to the rappers side. Kuna rappers pia wenye rap kuhusu vitu zenye hawaown ama hawajafanya. So why would we ask writers to write about things they also don't know? This question, obviously rhetorical. Sitaki kuwa wale watu nyujibu maswali rhetorical. Inanikumbusha the same conversation that nimetaja tuli have na Ivia na Babo kuhusu creating content, looking at different strands of content creation. The same conversation tuli have na Lexas hapa na Timo na Abe na Hazel kuhusu creating na different paths that different creators choose to take na what choices na factors influence hizo decisions. We obviously know this happens all the time. Si mara ya kwanza. How many times have I mentioned someone akatokea? Babo has joined us and I have literally mentioned Babo. Nikaa nimemtaja mara nyingi. Akapata hiccups, akajua this must be African, akafika. And hii topic ya African literature is something interesting na worth further exploration, as well as what to state kuhusu hiyo topic ya create content ama create art, that we can always expand on the idea na on these aspects of the conversation. So especially having Tuka Kafura to discuss this with us inaweza kuwa important sana. Yeye kama scholar mwenye amesoma, mimi sijasoma, nisikudanganye. I am just regurgitating information. I am not a scholar whatsoever, so don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Unmask maskola, it's all an act. Wanafaa kuhold Oscars. Unaona, yani tukiongea kuhusu Afrika na hali ya Afrika kuwa duni for miaka na mikaka, Hazel aongei, amekaa tu ametulia na tusikiza. Lakini anakuja hapa kuniambia must be a witchcraft just because anajua yeye pia nimemfikirianga nikampull into my lives. I have to make this point, I have to make a point. Must be witchcraft. Babu anasema unanisengenya. Niaje babu? Karibu sana. So tulikuwa na babu hapa on 6th February going into 7th February. That was our longest live session, I believe. Juu tulika hapa from 11:20 something. We went up until 2 something, simu ikazima, came back, we continued hadi 3:40. It was very crazy. When we had that conversation na Ivia na Babo, ilikuwa that day, something you should definitely check out. But on that day, something that we also talked about was MWE, part of the reasons za sisi kukuwa hapa. Na vile nilikuwa nimesema ningetaka sana tukuwe na watu waliokuwa nasi katika hii safari humwezi. Next week when we conclude MWE, na nianza nikisema nikiwa hapa na Abe na Fikra that February imeisha. hivyo tu ilifika day 10 of the exercise, nilikuwa nishaona at the end. I think I mentioned hapa how nimepanga my list weekly, venye nime break down hivyo ilifanya itakuwa something very quick. That's how it feel for me this time. Leo I've recorded my 20th review before nikuje live. I'm listening to Kenyan metal, death metal, Kenyan rock. I've been enjoying myself terribly. Hizo ndio kazi zenye Kafura hizi comment on. And neither can any of you. But sahi we only have 1 week to go na tumalize MWE. So crazy. Imekimbia sana, imefeel hivyo kwangu, sijui if it's been the same. But I was saying on 27th tunaweza kuwa na everyone mwenye amejoin ama other guests coming through, na tu celebrate tukiongelea sisi wote and just having fun with it. Na Babo alisema ako game when we spoke about that idea 2 weeks ago. Unakuanga aje wewe? Kafura, welcome back home. It's been a while since ukwe hapa. Welcome back home. So ndio Abe pia ongele idea yake yenye wako na voice notes za kutumia na Kafura via our comment section. Abe, do the thing. Utuambie kuhusu hizi projects zako. As I pull up what people have listened to today, let's see. Sasa tuanze na Babu. Sijaona what people have listened to, so while we are here, let's find out together. Before ni share the tweets baadaye in the wee hours, as we usually do. I'm just reading my book, listening to you, and then violence. Behave yourself, please. Sawa Kafura, sawa. Haya. Najua audio reception imechange. Why always me? Babu, wewe ni kana ni Abe na Kafura might get the reference. Na Babu pia Julie mention Futa jana. Why always me imenikumbusha Balotelli. Kafura, Abe, if you get my point, na Babu pia niambieni. Why always me? Hey, what a weekend. Brother man.
Yes man.
Niaje man?
Audio yangu iko fiti? Unasikia?
Tunakusikia.
Niko fiti, nimechoka. Vile nilikwambia shoot yangu imekuwa cancelled leo. Imekuwa cancelled usiku, sasa ndo nimeweza kutokea leo. Otherwise by now ningekuwa asleep. Yeah man.
Haungekuwa shoot sahi. I thought shoot yako ilikuwa ya usiku.
Hapana, si nilikuwa na shoot 2 days, Saturday Sunday, alafu ulikuwa na one scheduled for kesho early in the morning. So hiyo imekuwa cancelled around in fact they will text ukaniambia you'll be a little late. I was about to head and get the equipment for kesho, alafu ndo ikakuwa cancelled just before I went for the equipment. So yes, here we are.
Nilikuwa nadhani ni Sato na Sunday. Kumbe ulikuwa na shughuli pia kesho.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But in a way niko relieved kidogo haiko because
Kwa
then
hiyo
nimechoka but ukasema live so ndio tuko hapa.
uh, na naona Kakusha ame come through. Kakusha and I have an unfinished conversation. An unfinished convo on something that regards you, Abe. We were gossiping about
Yeah. Please lay it all out. Niko hapa bana.
eh, sijui Kakusha ajistate ama ni mseti, but ata decide.
Nikuhusu nani? Fancy fingers. Oh,
hiyo alisha accept aka move on.
I'll accept Sauti Sol are not good writers.
Ali accept aka move on. So Babu alikuwa anasema I fight like him to akirifa to Balotelli. Uli get the reference? Unakumbuka? Why always me?
How? Sijaona your comment. Although that's
Alikuwa
not
nazusha nikisema nilikuwa nataka tuanze na tweet yake on what people have listened to today because sijaona.
but that's not a memory I like to remember. Yeah, there was a day tulipata drubbing 6-1. It's not a day we remember fondly.
You're used to this by now, Abe, but you still keep going back. So
We won today. At least my week isn't ruined. So it was just about to get ruined.
hata jana pia ulikuwa excited sana. Bible says the Lord shall show you your enemies. So with Babu here, Hazel, Kafura and Kakusha, thank you so much for being here na Abe to join because tuko hapa kuzungumzia MWE. Niko surprised Kakusha ako hapa juu najua Kakusha ni mtu ako na early mornings, people with purpose katika maisha. The rest of you, Abe would have been asleep. Kafura is reading. Hazel ako na exam. So Babu is creating concepts out here. So Babu leo again amesikiza Alicia Keys. Nakwambia 3 days in a row. They are serious about Alicia Keys na pia ka Sam Smith na Beyonce, yani back to back. So Babu alisikiza Alicia Keys Day 20 and this is Girl on Fire. Alafu anasema it's 2013. I am singing brand new and this girl asks me about it. I played for her and she asked me to sing it. I am floored. It's 2017. I dance it. I remember the girl like the earth remembers rain. Where I let our unspoken love live on. Where Abe, buzz. You say.
Nakwambia Babu na Roger ni Rolling Stones wa.
Rolling Stones reviews.
May we break softly. Any
Yeah. Memorable.
Yeah, quotable. Yeah, stick.
Something rappers cannot do.
Yeah, hizo like musoma hizo when you like hii writing kweli ni ya mass.
Baba anasema I am trying to get her to marry me, please. Sawa.
But in a way,
back to back.
I envy her kwa sababu I think it seems she's having fun with this experience. Me bana last week nimesikiza some albums zenye Then other if you wanted to to create poetry with your with the review easy man.
Sasa tuone what Roger alisikiza. So Abe, before tuendelee, so uki refer to Babo, their pronouns ni they them.
Sawa.
Yeah. Roger nyinyi ndio mnasikizanga EPs mkiwa na shughuli ndo mcompensate. Roger amesikia hii ni cause jana hakufanya, so alisikia Gorillas, hii ni ya jana. Leo amesikiza who's this before. Okay, sijui ni album gani. Amesema the introspective writing and high-pitched singing built around innovative production that borrows elements from electronic to hip-hop allow before to create the perfect end to a grueling 48 hours. Umsa amekuwa na siku ngumu.
Must be nice. It must be nice.
Nimekwambia alikuwa ameenda kuwatch Nyash jana na amekuwa hizo shughuli wiki nzima that you did not know about. Ngine usikie your favorite. Alafu let's get to Abe. Abe amesikiza nani leo? Abe, pia umekuwa ka babu. Back to back.
Niko na explanation for you lakini I had to.
Alafu you'll have to edit your utakunini juu umeiandika as day 19.
Yeah, I need day 20. Yeah. Yo, assume day 19 lisikia mbili. Nimechoa.
Take out to exclamation mark hapo asterisk. So ni kama ulichukua advice since I think you loved the work ya day 19 pia kile babu anasema please listen to artists who love you. Eva amesikia Ladipo mara ingine amesema is sublimely gifted. Hey, Rolling Stone. It all seems too easy to him. However, I can't help but feel that he could give us better. Don't get me wrong, this is a dope EP. But maybe I should stop looking at this for what it could be and appreciate it for what it is. So Ebu unaweza anza na your most recent listen, alafu take us back to this experience vile imekuwa for you. Najua day tulikuwa na Babo hapa, ulisema imekuwa exciting. This is something that you want to do at a later month of this year. You may enjoy na imekuwa a challenge that umefurahi participate in. So take us through today na anywhere else that unaweza feel kushare about kupeleka through your experience.
So Leo I decided to listen to Ladipo. I listened to him yesterday and it was an album I think released in 2018, Talk About Poe. So normally I at first I didn't know he was a rapper. I mean I thought ni one of this R&B artists or Afropop artists. So going through the first track, the intro was really Happy Birthday, just a typical intro. And then the first song, wow, like Miliski, I was, you're not expecting a rapper, and then they start rapping, and they sound good. Like, and it feels like this is something he's been doing since he was like 5. So effortless, alafu, it's not just this shallow kind of writing. Well, it's a typical rapper. So anaongelea so many different concepts kwa the raps. Of course, it's very difficult to keep one theme all through a rap, especially when in a particular theme. So alikuwa ana speed some bars, and then you go like, okay, this is gonna be an interesting album, because if this is the first song and this guy is sounding like this because cadence yake is amazing. The way he writes the beat, it's just simple, it's fine. Unajua, so niko like, hey, I can't wait to hear the next song. So the next song comes, and the next song, and then the thing is, it's not sticking to one theme, but individually the song sounds so good. So niko like, I got this nilikuwa disappointed and I was mad. You know, this kind of players, actually to me sports analogy, in sports, you have these players who are so good but so lazy. Like say hata kama zoezi 3 days, alafu game day anakama anachenga wote anafunga hat-trick. After hiyo anaenda analewa, home and recovery, yeye anarudi Friday, anakuja na kufunga hat-trick. So this is what this guy feels like. It feels like this is the kind of, player when you can know, because he just seems like he's not struggling with it. It's just all too easy to him. But then you feel like if you just take your time, he's sure he's taking his time because making an album is no small feat. But then if he just took his time and thought about the concept, because he has the writing ability, he knows how to write the beats, his production iko sawa, he sounds great, akona hiyo rapper's voice and you can tolerate. Unajua, he has all the makings for being an A-list artist, an A-list rapper, which I feel he is in Nigeria. Then he can make a solid project. So nilikuwa mad, nilikuwa like, hata nikasema the album flatters deceived because it starts so well, and then after listening to the album, you're like, man, if you just took your time with it, maybe, unajua. So I said, this Leo, I'll have to give him another chance. So see, maybe, because that was a 2018 album, so maybe in 2021, unajua, alikuwa serious, alafu akama kupatia. So only to discover it's an EP. So unajua, so nilikuwa mad because like we waited 4 years, alafu unatupatia EP. Unajua, and considering the first listen, like, I can't wait.
Who is he?
No, but actually, you know what? I made a point of going, nikaenda read about him online, and fans were like, people were he's like the second coming. Unajua, he was the next MI, the next big thing for Nigeria. So everyone was anticipating. So 4 years, it's like tungoje Kendrick all these years, alafu akamna 3 song EP venye Drake kufanya. Anyway, so I got into the EP, and then again same thing. Like, he sounds so good, the writing is brilliant, and I feel too like Anna right now. Like, say he just raps in his sleep, and Amka he raps, and that's how it feels. Like, and I sound like Andre. It's too easy when he raps. You listen, but then again it's an EP, so every song has a different theme. But he's really good, and then it got me to that thought. Yeah. Maybe I should stop looking at it for what it isn't and appreciate it for what it is. Because then I'll get to enjoy the EP, which is good. Like, the writing is good. I can't fault it. So if I stop looking at it as this could have been a great album, angefanya hii, unajua. So even it's disappointing, but I think I'll have to come to terms with maybe this is the kind of artist he is. Maybe this is all he's ever going to give us. And if he ever decides to give us another album, I mean, who knows? It could be 2 years, 3 years. Trustkiza is not to enjoy for what it is. So, but my last 2 days mekwa better, considering the week I had last week. The last 2 days.
Kafura, before tuambie kuhusu your last week.
Anasema nini?
Unaiona?
Yes.
Unasoma loud?
Ndio yote ngoja. But I agree with Abe, of course you do. You need sibling love. I agree with Abe for the simple reason that every single time I listen to Ladipo, I feel like he could give more. He could give me more. Yeah, exactly. Because it's disappointing because you feel like, and I sound like Big Sean, unajua, the potential is there. You can go toe to toe with the greats if you decide to, but then you don't. Unajua, you make an album with Genia Iko, alafu una water down what you can give. No shade by the apple. You think, but yeah, you see what I mean? Like, so nilikuwa disappointed, but then again, I just have to accept that maybe that's not the Niko nilikuwa dhani connection yangu.
No, ni yangu nimecheki.
Ah,
Nilikuwa
sasa
nakuuliza kama unapenda rapping voice ya Big Sean.
I don't hate it. No, actually, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't. Akona the rapper voice you can tolerate. Yeah, ni mseniza skiza for long. Ni mseniza skiza for long.
Umemention kuhusu how your previous week was daunting.
So my NWE experience ilianza vizuri. No, I think my first listen was Rolling from South Africa. Initially, I decided I was going to stick to South Africa, and I'll do South Africa all through. So my first listen was Rolling. I don't really ever listen to Rolling kwa albums za NSTC, kwa the features anakuanga hapo, and every time she kills all the hooks anakuanga nayo. So MWE was a good excuse for me to dive into this artist that I would probably never listen to on my own. So my first listen was Rolling, alafu tukenda Stogie T, but I'll get to that. So the first week MWE experience ilikuwa poa, niko like, this is fun, I want to do this every day of the week. And then nikasema, okay, maybe I should stop doing South Africa. Let me step out of the comfort zone kidogo. Acha ni try Nigeria, because normally I wouldn't listen to Afropop, or which hugely dominates Nigeria. Nikasikiza Nigeria, nikasikiza, I think so last week my worst experience so far na MWE ilikuwa Sakodi. I was mad. Oh my god. Unajua and prior to that, I'm not sure who I was listening to. I don't know who I was listening to, but sikumbuki, I can't remember. But before, I don't think it was a good listen. I think it was Otile Brown. I'm not sure.
Oh, before Sakodi?
Yeah, I think it was Otile Brown.
Nikuconfirm yetu sahi. It could be. Si nilikwambia ulikuwa na pattern.
Nilikuwa So ilikuwa
Otile was after Emmanuel Jal.
Sakodi ilikuwa.
So, no, ulikuwa umesikiza project that you love. Ulikuwa umesikiza nani? Ira Star.
Yeah. Yes. Sasa unaona like hizo high, like nimetoka, like I'm in love with this girl is amazing, like nimesikia Ira Star, niko like yes. So I want to keep the streak going. So who do I choose? Acha ni pick one of Africa's greats, unajua, in Sakodi. Niko like this, then this is a big hit man. So nimeona album, it's 1 hour 3 minutes long, and it's Sakodi. So I'm hoping, to get into this, Nico, like, this I can't do wrong. This is one of Africa's greats. And so what could possibly go wrong? It's song number 1. Okay, maybe that I pass. Song number 2. Maybe maybe ndaipe another pass. Song like nimesema hivyo, by the time namaliza inamaza na gospel song, Nico, like, what did I just listen to? Nilikuwa mad. Alafu this guy has A-list features on that album. I think in Wale, I see Wale, I think Quest ama nini, alafu akona Vic Mensa. So this is an expensive album, and for what? This guy says nothing. And Nico like, I was so mad, unajua. And then I said, okay, maybe I didn't pay attention. So what do? Nikasema fine, acha nisikiza again. Maybe I missed something. Maybe kuna kitu siku. Unajua, niko like, maybe I missed something. So first song again, it doesn't do. I hit, niko like, second song, I think I got 15 songs. 1 hour 4 minutes later, I was so mad. You know what I wanted to do for the review? Nilikuwa tu niweke emoji. Nimejam. Niko like, what is this? Like Africa, is this your king? Is this your king? I was so mad. Oh
This
my
is your
god.
king.
Is this your king? Oh my god. Like as in because I just wrote I only had 2 sentences in me and nikaeka hapo.
Record review.
It was terrible.
Record
Oh my,
review.
it really got terrible. I listened to it twice. No, that's 2 hours of my life I'm not getting back. And if I ever make it, I know I'm never going to interview Sakodi. But I'm just, if this ever gets like viral or to the internet, I'm just speaking about that specific. I don't miss out in your album, but I should have known. I should have known just from the album cover, because the album cover has Sakodi and a car. It's
You know what, Eb? No pressure.
that's no you imerudi trauma man, trauma. It was Africa and the kings of rap. And then what the worst part about that album is, and he's bashing other rappers on that. I'm like unajisikiza kweli, like this you know, you can, there's ways to say you're the greatest rapper, or you're the best rapper in Africa or Ghana, West Africa. I mean, it's, unajua how rappers wanajipeanga hizo self accolades, but then do that in a way that unasema unajua Ladipo, if Ladipo says he's the best, mimi nitakuwa like, I mean, yeah, debatable, but yeah, the way you sound, who are we to debate? But then, oh my god, you can scare, that's 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back. He ruined the experience for me, because now I can't go back and listen to his other albums, which I would assume are great, because he wouldn't be considered one of the best if his body of work is lacking. But then nimesikiza
It's a recent album.
yeah, it's his most recent album and the most unnecessary one so far. But we're not here to dwell about the albums we didn't like. We're not here to dwell about the albums we didn't like. We're here to talk about the experience at his MW.
That was a record review. Na last week tukiwa hapa niliwa show kwa phone hiyo tweet ya Abe juu ilikuwa last week, ilikuwa 13th. 13 and Abe alisema this was a lazy attempt from an A-list artist. You know, sentence 1. Sentence 2, unnecessary. Nikafunga stop.
Man,
I could just tell ulikuwa uko infuriated, similar to tweet ya Roger kwenye album alisikiza. Kwenye hata kumention msanii.
as in, but I think one of the things.
Listen, the remedy to this, really realize I've done this since 2019. So, niligundua whenever I'm doing MWE, sieki any rap project, because I know disappointment awaits. Unajua rap albums ni almost unavoidable.
Yeah.
Itakuwa
Yeah. Because but again, it's one of those things. For me, the thing with rap is, and I'll get to this album. It's raining. So you can't get clearly. Unasikia clearly?
Kusikia. Nasikia tu alarm nyuma yako.
So nasema, the worst thing about this experience, my second album ilikuwa Stogiti. Ali set the bar too high. I don't think there's no one else when you're at the top here, and that's me being honest. It will take an A-list rapper. Like, I'm going to listen to a lot of rap albums this year, and I don't think anyone is going to top Stogiti's album. So when I'm going into an album, kuna hiyo reference point, yeah? It's Stogiti. So even the artists I choose, the rappers I choose, ni A-list artists. I think this guy, ilikuwa Black Bones, Sakodi. I don't think Boyti is A-list, but unajua. So like after listening to your album, which I'll get to, it did ruin the whole experience for that. but then after so hiyo ilikuwa my worst, and then I think jana pia nilisikiza Brandy Maina, that's her name, si ndio?
For day 18.
Yeah.
So Eb, kwanza unaweza soma comment ya Babu na Kafura kwa wasi.
And nianze wapi? Oh, it just hit me that Big Sean is really forgettable.
No, alafu nikamwambia hi hater. So just the last two comments that
gani
from Kafura.
But hiyo Eb yao.
After that one,
alafu anasema I want to know the artist behind Roger's review. We all do, hakuweka jina, but alafu I'm not a hater. For all the while Abe was talking about Big Sean, I couldn't figure out who that was. I mean, Big Sean is No, but I agree. I agree. Kusema kweli, I don't know mbona anakonga kwa conversation because he doesn't deserve to be in any conversation. But yeah, I agree. Also, I made up my mind to catch up with artists I love listening to. Very recommended albums. Yeah, that is actually a good way. I think I'll use that approach moving forward.
No, I think Babu anasema also, sijui kama niko right, but I made up my mind to catch up with artists. Sijui kama kunafaa kuwa na koma, juu nimeunderstand akasema I love listening to very recommended albums. Ama ebu, I made up my mind to catch up with artists I love listening to very sijui kama kuna a comma ama kuna
I think maybe this is in reference to my experience with Sakodi. I could be wrong, but as a clarify.
But something that Babu alimention, kama nakumbuka time alikuwa hapa, alisema approach yake ilikuwa kusikiza albums that atapenda. So things that maybe amesikia zimepewa positive criticisms na feedbacks before getting into the exercise, but hajasikia the albums. Alisema that will be their approach getting into the review and how approach their part of the exercise, something that amekuwa akifanya. So ulikuwa unasema something to do with Brandy Miners upset the setup for your day 18 before tuongele nani Big Sean, how forgettable Big Sean was Kafura.
Yeah, but your Brandy is not really much talk about. Ilikuwa just, I don't know. I feel like the artists, to me, it feels like I couldn't even get what theme it was all about, Nini. But it felt like a dancer's album. Like the first thought nilikuwa, okay, this is something that would probably bang at a club or something. I wouldn't know because that's not from Zangu. But I guess people who like dancing and enjoy dancing would have better reviews for the album. But that's just about it. But it felt like you didn't really need an EP, but then you decided unajua niko na a few songs, so let's make an EP out of it for whatever reason. So as singles, maybe they would pass. No, not really. I don't think so. I don't even think as singles would pass. Because nikicompare ina, I think her latest single nilipenda ile yenye iko na that famous nilizui toka thika hadi kwa ya kupea. Hiyo iko catchy. I didn't find your album with a lot of catchy hits, which I felt like that's, well, just by listening to her, that's what I feel like she does, unajua. So ilikuwa another May album. I didn't have much to talk about. But yeah, but getting to Kafura, I'm about Big Sean. Yeah, man, Big Sean is forgettable. Big Sean is just, I don't know why he somehow manages to stay kwa hiyo conversation. For some reason, niliwatch hadi hiyo interview yake ya Drink Champs, hiyo the whole thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, listen for the vibes. Kafura anasema hivyo. Free advice when listening to Benny Mdinga. Listen to the vibes.
Listen to the vibe, not to enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I got from it. It's something you can dance to, something you can enjoy without it being too serious. But yeah, I agree with Kafura. I mean, Big Sean is just Big Sean, so I don't think he never give. I think amefika point yenye I can name 10 rappers, current rappers of this generation who are put above Big Sean, and that's to say a lot considering the caliber of artist he is. Yeah.
So before tuendelee, for Brand Miners Upset the Setup EP, nilifanya a review of that EP sometime last year. So you're watching this and you want to check out the review for more sentiments na my perspectives kuihusu, feel free to check it out. Pia nitaambia Kafura aende aone hiyo review, asikie maoni yangu kuhusu hiyo kitu pale YouTube. Anything else? Take us anywhere elsewhere kuhusu your experience.
So I'll take my standard. Let me get to my standard moments. So the first one was Togiti.
Obviously.
That is, I would advise anyone who's on this live right now, after this live, well, not really, take your time with it. Go listen to Stogiti. My God, this guy. In my lifetime, and I think I had this conversation with you, only twice have I felt like that listening to an album. The first one was Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar. The second one, ilikuwa Swimming by Mac Miller. I can't explain what that feeling was, but when you get it, you know. It's those albums that make you feel like, what? So when I'm listening to Stogiti, of course we all know Stogiti is dope. One of the best, if not the best, like lyricists in like whom say he's the guy. And he's what, 38 and still going strong. So the first song, Nico, like, what did I just listen to? And then the second song, and then I'm starting to understand, okay, he's not just rapping for the sake of rapping. Like, every word makes sense. Like, nothing, not just sometimes as rappers, kuna kuwa na hii tendency ya kuweka a very unnecessary comparison ama bar. Unajua, niko sijui ka na pull up ka nyongi, unajua, none of that. Wow, sijui.
Taki rappers or deliver ka domino.
Man. You're fighting, you're catching what, me, I'm catching. Unajua hizo mafala. Anasemanga nini? Ska anasemanga nini?
We are hot like flames.
Yeah, you're hot like feelings. Shout out to Ska. Ska is one of my favorite rappers, by the way. But he's a line. So when I'm listening to Stogiti, bana, nothing feels redundant. Alafu the image anatumia, I think on a song he talks about nobodies, like how the nobodies in the society, like the system iko made for them to remain like that. Alafu anasema things like, I think the opening line ilikuwa Flea's dream of buying a dog, only something like and then you think about how and I bring it to Nobody's Marrying Nobody's. That is an album I would recommend to anyone. I told you I have a top 50 albums list. It will skyrocket to upward top 10. It is skyrocket. Stogiti is amazing. Everything about that album was amazing. And it was my second day. So at that point, I was in love with South Africa because the first day Rolene, I was like, okay, it's not the best album, but she sounded great. Again, R&B albums, you don't really expect much, but unajua the vibes and the delivery and how it sounds and all. And then Stogiti comes. So me, Nico excited because this is now what I want. I'm excited. I'm listening to South Africa. Day 3, by the way, just go listen to Stogiti. Inaitwa something of Sheep. The Empire of Sheep. The Empire of Sheep by Stogiti. It's a classic album. Give me a call if you have to tell me how your experience was. Text me. We can have a whole Zoom call. Whichever. Yeah, so I'm quite excited by that point. I appreciated South Africans for what they do with their albums. The third day is again is Shego, another South African artist. And again, like I said, my review literally out of context. Because Nakumka, I said, if you're looking for multi-layered project, this isn't it. But I meant that in the most nicest of ways. I did not mean that as an insult to this guy's music. But Kodo being Kodo only sees the hate in the album, in the message, which is, I think, a critique scarce. No, Shego's album was vibes. Although it just felt like any other R&B album. But if you're going to sound like any other R&B album, then make sure you sound good at it, Majua. And that's what it was. So it got a replay value, I think. And then the 4th day, I think it got Una Rams. And my God, at this point, if you argue with ungeniambia anything, me kwambia South Africans are the best in Africa, and you wouldn't tell me shit. At that point, after the Una Rams, the album, the EP is called Hold Me When It's Cold. And when you listen to the album, it's exactly that. It's that feeling you get when someone holds you when it's cold. If you can't relate to that experience, I pray you get to experience that someday. And hopefully it's cold. But yeah, ngoja. Kuna comment ya Kafura nitasoma after here, utasoma after here na Rams. Yeah, but yeah. So listening to Una Rams ilikuwa like I think really compare like drinking water. I think in my review I said that feeling you get from that sip of water when you're thirsty. It's that, and it was so beautiful. He's such a beautiful soul. Nilienda kusikiza more of his work, singles, and he's just an amazing artist. So my first week, it was a success, and at that point you recall like, yeah, I want to do this forever. Let's do MWE every day. Little did I know it gets rocky, you know. But my first 4 days, it was like, yes, let's do this. Yeah, but I had to make up. Yeah.
Alafu nimeongelea honeymoon phase, then baba naongelea get married, as in easy moment to happen. So acha nisome what Kafura alikuwa anasema earlier. There was the conspiracy theory that Big Sean rolls with the right people to stay an A-lister, both friendships and dating. I was to mention story yako good music earlier, and I somehow agree with this because Kanye, Jene, Pusha T, hata nikuonyesha mention. And then Kafura amesema kidogo Ebu na disrespect rhythm and blues. Babu ana agree, anasema unamwona Ebu, we are happily married. Abe, history R&B, then you can get to your second week.
No, Babu, listen to Una Rams, and I think you'd enjoy it. And then listen to it with the significant other. It also counts for like it's a good bedroom playlist. Unajua Kenya Mbungi alikuwa anasema it's a good album. But what I mean about R&B albums is I don't know, I don't find them layered. There's nothing. It sounds good. I don't feel it's meant for that, like a rap album or anything. At least from what I've experienced, it's just a bunch of songs put together. You might find few that are layered, or maybe you guys should introduce me to some that you feel like are layered projects. But for the most part, it feels like every song stands on its own. Ama, if it's a theme, it's it's about love or heartbreak. Because the ones I've listened to rather, or along those lines, really. So it's really difficult. I don't know. It's that's what I feel about R&B albums. So if you sound good, if you have a good voice and the production is good and maybe the lyrics sometimes are catchy and all, then it makes for a good album. But most of them sound the same. Like nikisikiza Caesar, Jeniaiko, and sijui who, like kuna kwa na similarity yenye zinakwanga there. Hata if we look at like Rihanna's albums, I wouldn't say pop R&B, but whichever. As singles, they stand on their own, but as albums, ni very rare kupata one ina stick to something outside love and all that. But yeah, it's rhythm and blues. I guess it's just for that. So I don't know, maybe.
Unajua kwanza umemention Rihanna na Rihanna ni bei wa Kafura. So expect paragraphs kwa comment section sahi. Zile voice notes ulikuwa ngoja. Kafura atazidi scad. Expect paragraphs right now because mongelea Riri.
No, but Babo Pia said something about the same. I think they were reviewing Rihanna's album, sindio?
And Kenye alisema ni ya kukuwa na airline of thought.
Yeah.
I thought albums inafaa kuwa na cohesive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so when they said that, so I think they can relate to that, the same sentiment and that's what I mean by that. So it's very it's here a joke to.
And then Babu alikuwa anasema, me too, after my first week I was like I wanna live like this forever. You could review.
Yeah.
Alikuwa mwongea story ya kuwa married na yeye anaweza kuwa na experience ya kukua hugged in the cold na kuwa held, and then you want layered, stay in rap.
But now Kafura, other rap albums are not layered squeezy. So there's nowhere to go. There's no.
But na findingi ile tu umesema hiyo idea ya R&B album, R&B project hazikuangi na a cohesive flow, and mostly kile tu umesema, the overall concept of an album maybe would be an overarching theme ama a general theme. So maybe ni kituka love and heartbreak, and then the songs will just be scattered all through the album. Perhaps utapata kuna songs that speak about love and those beautiful moments, then kuna songs that speak about the heartbreaking moments na moments of conflict. Lakini that sort of idea, yeah, even the songs themselves, I find them to be very generic ideas. Na for me nakuanga just, it's like almost any other song that nimesikia, any other idea that has been sung before. So nazifindingi generic sana. So what does it for me ni vile imeandikwa, and obviously the soundscape to it. Sometimes utapata kuna a deliberate intent by the creator of an album kujaribu kuzisequence kutela story. So tusijifanye ati watu wa R&B huwa hawajaribu na tuseme it's just like this compilation means. Sometimes utatel but bado wana failingi, and then you end up having this repetitive overused tropes za where we'll be in love, fall out of love na to break, so maybe the album itaishia hapo, I'm walking away, ama tuko in love, to break, then I'm back and falling in love again na other persons. I find that to be terribly generic and overused. Then Kafura amesema no, it was her birthday, we are not fighting for her. Then Bobo amesema go to art galleries if you want layer.
If I'm being honest, after interacting with artists, nimekuwa skeptic. I just think art galleries are the last place I'd go to, because artists akikwambia No, the interpretation ya hard inakuanga very 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 subjective, but yeah, but I get, yeah.
Kapura nasema, but now that you say it, I understand what he means. But pia nimesikia reference yake ni Caesar and such. Yes, modern contemporary R&B, something that we mentioned for reviews that tulifanya. Juu review, I mentioned this. I don't think Kapura alikuwa hapa, maybe alikuwa. But review Lisa Oduor Noah's project. And the part of the sentiments ilikuwa that nowadays ukisikia modern R&B, hata watu ni umetaja kama ni kina Caesar, umemention yes, kina Caesar, ukiangalia the Summer Walkers for instance, there's a way that R&B sound nowadays imekuwa trap. And it's been for years, a number of years now, R&B ilianza kuinfuse trap, and that ended up being the R&B sound. So that still falls under R&B and soul, lakini iko na trap influences sana. So, but of course, R&B is a wide genre that goes back, way back, na kuna different artists who wamekuwa critical in shaping the genre. So I find that every genre has its generic niche. No, obviously, obviously, ukienda kwa country, it's the same. Ukienda kwa rock, ukienda kwa hip hop na rap, pop, reggae, they do, but it still makes it generic. And for me, what wins it too, nimesema ni venye mtu ataandika. How you write whatever it is you want to write, it's not the what, it's always the how, as we constantly state. Then Babu amesema Lisa is on my list as someone I want to try. I was sure Lisa is on your list, Babu, actually. So no matter if you any sentiments on the album, I'm sure kwa list. Yeah, no, check Lisa out. Check Lisa out. Also nangoja kuona what you'll feel about Omugunda. Then we all know what a hip hop artist from New York is rapping about. He's rapping about Giuliani and friends, Esther and his crew. Umeget comment ya Kapura, the last part. Ama we all know what Giuliani and friends are rapping about. Get the first part, we all know what a hip hop artist from New York is rapping about. Si wote though. Utakuwa surprised. Wasanii ni wengi, kwanza rap. Ama generally artists are just everywhere nowadays. Too many. Kafura, please clarify sentiment yako as Abe proceeds.
Allow me to introduce. My name is Abe. A to the B.
A to the B.
Yeah, but speaking of reviews, nilisikiza like your review aitwa ni Magunda, I think yendo ali repost.
What? Oh, so useme views zako kuhusu views ama useme what our views were juu Babu akonayo kwa list yake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa.
You can say anything else. If not, sawa.
Sawa.
Hizo utatuma kwa text. The last two comments are to be read as one. I find that every genre has its generic niche, and when you might get uki pick from there, then kusema we all know what a hip hop artist from NY is rapping about, Giuliani and friends, Esther and his crew. Is that the perfect tone? Maybe Kafura, maybe. Ebu, unaweza endelea?
Yeah, nilikuwa week 2, si ndio? Yeah. So as all good things must come to an end, and unfortunately for me, my moment of high lasted. My honeymoon phase lasted 4 days. But stick around. There's some good moments hapo mbele. But yeah, hebu nisaidie hapo, nisaidie. I don't sina list yangu sasa.
So week 2, si ndio?
After una Rams.
So week 1 yako after Una you went to Nikita, Simi na Boiti. Then week 2 Kazana Bien na Aaron. Then
Okay.
Emmanuel.
Week two wasn't that bad. Week 2 wasn't that bad. Because with Nikita, I liked her writing. It's the kind of writing I enjoy.
That was still week 1.
Yeah, but week 1. Yeah, so Nikita, I like Nikita, but then I felt like she's still trying to find her sound. I think I didn't make it clear. It felt a lot of it. It sounded like maybe Alicia Keys. You could tell who her influences were growing up by the songs she was making. So eventually, like hopefully, she gets to a point where she settles into a sound that she's comfortable with, and she keeps making music because I enjoyed it. And then Kafura alikuwa anitumia voice note about Simi's album.
Omo Charlie.
Yeah, unajua what happened? That's the album. Ilikuwa after tulipiga review, alafu nikaenda nikakuwa na shoot, and then I slept. I was this close.
Woke up at 11.
I was this close to missing MW for that day. So tulifanya review with Kodo na kina Roger. I think tulimaliza 9. Nilitoka hapo 9 niliacha mkifanya. Yeah, so nikaenda, I had a shoot ikaisha around 2. Nikafika home nikasema let me just chill and wait for like 9 10, alafu ndo nitalala nisi mess up with my sleeping pattern. Hey man, nimefika 1 hour after saying that. My eyes inakataa, like naona but sioni, unajua it's like you're in a trance. There's nothing is making sense, you know. Everything is in slow motion. Nikasema you know what, screw that, acha nilale. So I slept, alafu nikamka at 11. I woke up at 11:10 p.m. And then kuingia Instagram ulikuwa unafanya live yako, nikakupata, I think you're just starting the live. Nikakwambia chi hata sijasikiza MWE ya today. Wacha nisikize album moja before nilale. But I was still sleepy when saying that. So I think at 11:20 I settled on a so I was looking for a short EP. Kitu yenye it last for like 20-25 minutes, and then from there I write a quick review before midnight. So Nico, like, who do I go to? And I think the mistake I did also this time around is I didn't have a list, like, you know, when I map out what you're going to listen to every day. So what I normally do, I go on Spotify, an artist I liked, and then Spotify suggest similar artists to that. So that's what I did. So nikaenda Simi, and I think I've only listened to like 2-3 songs of Simi's, so, and I liked her unique sounding voice. Nikasikiza Omo, the first song. It's a sad song. So I'm expecting and I keep with it. I think it's a song, a tribute to her dad. So I was expecting hiyo ndo itakuwa the whole theme going around it. Ama itakuwa about heartbreak. Of course, yes, it talks about heartbreak, but now a different form of heartbreak. So yeah, it was a bunch of songs about love and heartbreak. That was my review. Alafu Kafura akasema ataniandikia voice note. So I'm assuming ana type my paragraphs. Go easy on us. I hope they're all positive. Remember, we share in our love for Lil Baby.
Review ya Abe on days on that day was strapped for time today and just about got through this project. Simi's third album is a ballad of love songs with no distinct sound. The album is a fusion of different pop genres. Nothing too complex about the writing and production makes for an easy listen.
So yeah, that was my skill.
I have more nonsense to say about Simi. All your reviews with your chest, we are behind you.
Yes.
Either hii story yote nika eba na justify statements zake.
Unajua mimi na expect backlash because niko like unajua because when Kafura alinitumia voice note niko like kwani did I say anything wrong about Simi come offend, but now it feels like she doesn't like
on the same page. Ama agree na wewe.
Yeah, but maybe I should listen now. I don't think I'll listen to it again. I don't think it's an album that I'll go back to. So I'm not gonna lie and the same I'll go back and listen to it. But yeah, I want to get to the bad albums now. You ilikuwa a pretty ilikuwa a good week for that. My first bad experience ilikuwa Boity, I think. Yeah. Man, it was a hard listen. But I listened to that album, that EP 4 or 5 times, just to make sure that I'm getting what's happening.
And then Babu anasema, I also like that review because I think if I met Simi, I wanna fight her. Babu, what did Simi do to thee? Then Kafura anasema, but I will say, Simi is one of the best sound engineers in Nigeria. Not even at the singers ama songwriters.
It's like everyone akona a Simi story.
Sound engineer. Don't know that. Hey, people will be opening up here for comment section.
Yeah.
Uliongelea 4436 EP ya Boity.
Your review about it nilikuwa, I was mad because I listened to it. But it's the good news is it's short, so at least your nonsense I prolong for that long. It's like 20 minutes, so but like okay fine. But then I had to listen to it a couple of times just to make sure, because with rap at least the first listen and the second listen. The thing with Boity is akona hiyo voice for unajua like it's not annoying. And I don't know, it's a rapper's voice, and it's a nice rapper's voice. Alafu ikona arrogance funny that comes with it, but then she's not really saying anything. The album is I think 11. It's a number, sindio?
4436 EP.
Yeah, 4436. I think it's where she grew up as a child. Yeah, it's quick death. Exactly. But then I had to prolong the death because the first listen, no, second listen, it just gets worse after every listen. So for 436, what am I expecting? I'm expecting we're going to hear her come up story. You know, this is where I grew up, this is my hood, this was my grandma's house, this is how I got into rapping. And I mentioned too in the first line, 4436. Nico like, what? I don't even know what that is. I had to read what 4436 meant. I thought ni an area code. Najua ka Nastisia nasemanga 031. So I thought ni an area code huko South Africa. That's the only mention she has of it. Like it's where I grew up and then the end. And then from Apple, haters, rappers, I have designer bags. First song. Second song, haters, bad bitches, I have designer bags. Fourth song, niggas ain't shit, bad bitches, I have designer bags. Nigga like, come on. And then here's the thing. I don't mind you saying, you know, if that's the thing you wanna go for, fine, it's okay. But then there's a way you can say it. You know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. See, even though it's how you say it. And as to see, I'm sure this is how you say it. This is how you know, I've lived the life, so let me tell you how it's done. That is a virgin set of car keys, just a suburban little Barbie. You kids are like, but then you pass this for a gun, oops, I'm for a gun. Like, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. So I was very disappointed because I don't know, it could have been more. But then thank God it's short. So for anyone who's planning to go into that album, it's short. That's the good news. The bad news is, well, I didn't find it enjoyable. So I think that was the beginning of it all. And you know, you always have these moments, at least for me. yeah, I don't know if anyone else anyone else can relate. So when things are going so well, when expecting you or there's something bad about to happen. So that's I should have known that. Like there's no way I've had 6 days of good albums. Like what? I'm enjoying music too much. Of course, Boiti was just
Around the corner.
around the corner. Boiti alikuwa anangoza like just chill. Najua she ruined South Africa for me, man. I was having a good time.
Alikuwa anangoja. Alikuwa anangoja hapo hivyo 4436 Street.
Wow. It's like she knew. She's like, no, you can't be talking about South Africans like this. That was my first experience with a bad South African album. But I just have to say, South Africans really take their time with the album, so I respect them for that. But then that was the beginning of perception yangu ilianza kuchange, like, okay, maybe walikuwa wananificha white, unajua. Like, unajua mgeni akikam the first 4 days, how he's always clean. Alafu after 1 week, checking. We bana hii kitanda tandiki unajua. So that was it. I think so after hiyo what nilisikiza nani after
So before nikwambie mwenye ulisikiza comment ya review yake ilikuwa as quintessential as a rap project as you'll get. Haters, designer apparel, cars, haters again are all recurring themes on this EP. But for the production and a nasty C feature, there's nothing outstanding about the project. Did I mention haters?
I was tired.
So quickly to Kafura alikuwa anasema but Simi is very unorthodox about her music from right from her sound to how she delivers hiyo ni ukweli. Babu akasema story ya quick death EP ni fupi so unaipitia within 20 or so minutes. Also when I said nonsense, it is good nonsense. Like I could go on and on about Simi. So hebu ngoja voice notes. Contrary to what you might be thinking right now, me, I love Simi. I like to mention her sound engineer cap because niggas don't recognize her for that. Mi najua yuko engineer na yeye nini engineer projects zake. Jukuna sometime I watched a documentary on female creatives na female musicians from the continent na alikuwa part of them sometime back wakashow yeye side yake as an engineer na record. Babu says defund rappers. Babu ataki nini rappers wa designer apparel. So with two alikuwa na Boldman Love Better, alikuwa na Emmanuel Jal, alikuwa na mtu wako Otile na mtu wa Kafura pia, alikuwa na Ira Star samahani twice, alafu kulikuwa na Sakodie ushaongelea, alafu kulikuwa na While You Wait ya Flame.
Yeah, so week two, Boytel number 2, it's not going to be all beautiful. But now that you mention it, it wasn't all that bad. I finally got to listen to Boldman Love Better. Nothing that I didn't expect from Bian ilikuwa tu just unajua catchy songs. If you can manage to just block out the lyrics, would enjoy. And of course, Aaron Ali come through with the keys. Msikia akishout hapa nje. Anyway.
Tuagiza koera.
Oh, I think kuna watu wamekam in drunk or something.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so ilikuwa that alafu Emmanuel Jali ilikuwa it was the first album nilisikia from home, unajua it's the first album for my MW experience na ilikuwa ina feel like this is what it would feel like to go home, unajua this is just in fact I just think when I had the album the first thing I thought was this is such a hopeful album. I don't quite understand some of the lyrics because I'm in the Nuer language. I'm not
In Sudanese.
in Sudanese. They speak Sudanese. He was rapping in Sudanese, and I don't understand that part of Sudanese. Yeah. So yeah, but that album was beautiful. I don't think many people would relate to it, but if you're South Sudanese and this gets to you,
Mm.
listen to that album. And but the story is very inspiring. I don't know if it counts for anything, but this guy he was separated from his family at a very young age, including the sister, at like when they were 4 years old. Akaenda akakuwa child soldier, akahepa, came to Kenya, the sister, they disappeared. And then they meet a few years later and they make an album together. So that was beautiful. So to see them do that, I love how the album sounds. Ilikuwa ina sound like, take me home. Let's just dance along the Nile. And I actually will do that. Nikienda home, I'm going to do that. I'm going to play that album and I'm going to get a few friends and we're going to sit there because we don't dance. We're just going to sit and enjoy the music. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, what part of
Sudanese do you understand?
the one that he did, the one that he wasn't thinking about.
Hiyo ndio naimba ndio uelewe.
Yeah. Anasema hapo Otile and me in one sentence, I'll be done. Man, unajua, here's the thing. This is the thing, eh? If you ever have a favorite Kenyan artist, don't listen to their albums. Just listen to their singles. I think I have learned that the hard way.
Let me tell you people, let me tell you my dear people, the number of times kwa hizi lives, insist, reiterate in paid partnership with Otile Brown, akiniambia, yo, Kodo, check out Otile Brown, check out Otile, yani, the number of times, Abe anaweza kurecommend before tuanze wa recommendation tukimalizanga.
No, unajua.
Otile. Akaamua kuweka Justin Love kwa MWE. Here we are.
Wanasemanga ignorance is bliss, and they were right. They were right. Mimi unajua nimesikiza tu singles za Otile. That's all I've had. Mimi usikiza tu like hizo zina pop. Unajua like akimba pale na Sanaa uko like, oh my god, this is a song I would dance to my wedding. This is the love love anthem of Kenya 2000 and like the 21st century. Man, and I was excited because like, yes, nimesikiza Boyti, nimesikiza all these guys. Why not? Why not Otile freaking Brown? Unajua? Because unajua, this guy akona a huge following, like his songs zinatouch. By the way, if you listen to Otile na matatu, sijui mnapandanga matatu gani, but he will hit different. Kwanza matatu za come home. Hizo Otile will hit different. Uko like, bro. So nikasikiza na headphones. kuna call.
Ni Babu akisema also in Kenya, how do you still have light after, during, or even before the rain? Also, are you in Kenya, or if you have many lights after the rain? Mind yake iko sleep deprived. Also the typos. Tunaelewa Babu, tunaelewa.
We know people this leafy suburbs.
Kama uko na lights after rain ama before.
Hapa tuko leafy suburbs. Hapa we know people that know people.
Ukapura kuuliza swali, isome na ujibu. Wameniuliza actually. But mtu recommend Lil Baby wewe unaweza mchukulia siri.
Guy. Wow. Guys. This is an open invitation to anyone who's in this live and who is going to watch this. from wherever you're watching from. Listen. Oh God. Listen to me close. And listen again. This is an open call. I'll be hosting a Lil Baby listening party. We're going to listen to one album because I'm careful with the songs I play. And it's going to be a Lil Baby listening party. Bring a friend. There will be drinks. That's why. No, don't listen to them. This guy, I'm not street kid up about it.
That's why I don't trust Abe's recommendations. Babu, ulishaharibu.
Anyway, you know what I'm going to do actually.
Abe, lakini usijali, unajua Hazel ako hapa silently, but Hazel ni fan wako mbaya, so at least uko na mtu mmoja.
I don't know about
kama ana trust your recommendations.
I don't think I don't think but this is the thing. I'm going to play in my stories this week. I'm going to play a Lil Baby song for 15 seconds for every day, starting tomorrow. You won't avoid it because you want to listen to Lil Baby. And breathe.
You should never have listened to Otile, or not even listened to him. You should never have been here recommending him na kusema paid partnership with Otile Brown.
No, someone tell me, yo, Ngoma Otile na Sanipe is not one of the best songs that has come out of this region of Africa.
Iko kwa hiyo album?
Hapana, sasa sijui alikuwa nafikiria nini. Like I would expect again. Unajua the thing is, nilikuwa very disappointed because nilikuwa na high expectations. I had a very terrible week and I knew I was listening to Otile at the end of the day and I was excited. I don't know what he was trying. Wow. Alijaribu. I don't know what to call it. Unajua I'm trying to look for unasikiza alafu uko like alafu unajua anajaribu kuchange the cadence how ana sound, unajua anajaribu kusound tough, like unajua the bad boy kind of like no, this ain't you. Nilikuwa disappointed. Like the album is called Just in Love. The first song auna calligraph wanaongea sijui venye wanapiga like the hit and run. Hiyo ngoma inaitwa Hit and Run. Chorus inasema nini? Ama hit and run. I go like, what? Alafu yo hit and run. And anasema I'm a hit and run, anasema for like 5 times. It's not musically pleasing. So the album is Just in Love. Alafu a hit and run. How you know they smash and they forget. Unajua, because that's the kind of guys they are. I'm like, okay, maybe love is relative. I'll give them that, and maybe that's their version of love. So power to them, and if that's what they feel love is. But nothing about that album resonated with how I view love. Because what? I think there's only one song alikuwa, it was a typical, you know, like I'd give my all to you and all that kind of blah, 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 blah. But all in all, that was terrible. The features were terrible. I think there's one song like Kidum, at least Kidum came through. Alisaidia the album. But all in all, it was very disappointing. He lost major points for me. Ni mapenzi yao. Me, I wouldn't want. I don't want to experience that kind of love. And you wonder why these guys can't sustain long-term relationships. I mean, you can't be singing something for 40 minutes and don't tell me and you don't believe it. There's no way. There's no way. So it shows in your life, in your lyrics, in your lifestyle. Ah, man, like after listening,
Usha experience R&B na some soulful singing from Una Rams na Hold Me When It's Cold and the like. Alafu unapata nafa na
Babu, it wasn't the first song. It wasn't the first song. And the thing is, I don't go through the list, but niliona Otile Brown and Calligraph. So Nico like, okay, if Otile doesn't do it justice, maybe Calligraph can convince. Wow, Calligraph made it worse. But anyway, yeah, I think I deserve it. I deserve it. But the album itself, inaitwa to something just in love. So Minko like, I'm a sucker for love. I love love. I love hearing songs about love. I love Otile. What could go wrong? Boom. I'm a hit and run. Hit. Oh,
Babu alikuwa amesema Hazel vote with the tribe wakisema ajishughulikie, then kulikuwa na hiyo ngoma because of Sanaa Pay, that's why the song is beautiful. Kafura akasema that Ayana jam, it comes on and I lose all decorum, such an elite song, wakiagree na Abe. Then Hazel confirm what Babu was saying, lakini alikuwa anasema as support, anasema who's Lil Baby, I just hear you mention. I'd love to support you, Abe, but alas,
no.
You deserve everything that comes to you. If you listen to an album and that has hit and run as the first song, then Kafura akasema hata hiyo ni love.
No, but no. Listen, honestly, guys, my point is, only like if I was the one doing the promo from this album, unajua this ukionanga hizi movies from the makers of this and this. So me, I'm thinking from the makers of Just in Love, ne Ayana, we bring you Just in Love from Otile Brown. Okay, like, yeah, the homie knows, and then boom, the homie doesn't know. So anyway, ilikuwa very that was a terrible album.
No, hiyo wiki apart from that, you the projects like also play mulishongelea Sakodie, ulikuwa na highlights from Nigeria, Ira Star. You really enjoyed the music.
Yes, I didn't even I did not expect to. I knew nothing about this girl before I listened to her album. But again, on that day I think I was strapped for time. But I think nilikuwa na go through artists similar to Simi. Alafu kulikuwa na Thames, kulikuwa na Ira Star and all that. So luckily I just clicked on Ira Star, and damn, Nico like, okay, it was your album is 13 minutes, your EP is 13 minutes, but I think they played over and over again for that day. The next day, it was so good. By this time, I'm listening to this album. I have no idea who this girl is. So obviously, after listening to the album, I'm interested to, okay, akona interviews, does she have any interviews online and all that, lengthy interviews and all. And then I discover she's 18, or at the time of the album coming out, the EP coming out, she was 18. But that girl sounds like she's so comfortable in her sound. Ako very mature. Like the song sounds so good, the production, and nilikuwa so excited. Nilikuwa like, what? So then for the next day I was hoping, please tell me she has an album out, or she has a lengthier project, because it was just 13 minutes. I click on her latest album, 2021. There we go. Ira freaking Star. So I listened to the album again. She's brilliant. I think hoping everything goes her way, and like just life doesn't life. She's bound for she's bound for greatness. That girl can sing. She's amazing. Of course, I don't know, her sound and the album. I liked how she tried to do more with her sound. So kulikuwa na a lot of experimentation that worked as well. And then how she sounded as well, confident. You wouldn't tell she's 19. Her perspective, some of the perspective, of course, need teenager, but that's okay. You know, that's her story, and it's fine. And I relate to it. Me, I bumped that girl's music. We were like, yes. I actually followed her. And now I'm just looking forward to what she has to release. Ada juzi amekuwa recommended kwa my new music Friday. So yeah, Ira is a freaking star. I hope everything goes well for her. Cause yeah, yeah, na Stogiti are my highlights for the whole MW experience.
Ulisema euphonious, alluring, diverse, assured. Ira was at her glittering best once again, in for the second time. I'm convinced she doesn't have a bad song in her. Sifa.
Yeah, for me, like, listen, whatever happens between now and the rest of her career, I don't think she's made it. Like, she has a project that, like, the two projects she did, although the first one was very short, even solidify. She's won. Nika Cardi na ile album yake ya kwanza, inaitwa nini?
Invasion of Privacy.
Yeah. Whatever she produces after that, you'll always go back and say, you have this album that had like 14, 15 good songs, which is very difficult to do. There's nothing you can do wrong after that. So experiment. Now is her time to experiment or just keep making music. She's 19, guy. I hope she makes music Marco like to 25, and I hope her audience grows with her as well. Because she's bound to change a lot in terms of perspective, sound, at some point. But yeah, so here ilikuwa my highlight. But all in all, like yeah na Stogiti are my highlights. The other albums that followed then zimekuwa too very lackluster. Hii ingine ilikuwa sijui for While They Wait for My Fans or something like that. Ilikuwa mbaya. Sarkodie is my worst experience. I wouldn't recommend. And the reason I'm mad at Sarkodie is because of the caliber of artist he is. You can't claim to be the best and give us that. So even one of the things you go like, okay, yeah, so maybe I judged him too harshly, but he deserves it because I mean he ain't no king, so yeah, so far yeah, my experience so far imekuwa fiti. I think Stogiti, Ira Star, and Ladipo niko too very. I don't like that. I feel like he could be more, but then he's really good. The writing, the way he sounds is amazing. Now Una Rams. So yeah, so 20 days in, there's 8 more days to go. Hopefully at some time, maybe after 2 months, I'll now delve into like nafanya this. I'm going back to rap as well in the 90s. That's a period of rap I never enjoyed. So yeah, I want to see if maybe a different perspective, niki purposefully listen to the albums. Kina Pac, Biggie, these are guys I haven't listened to. Kina Rakim, I don't know how kind 90s, but yeah, NWA and all those guys, Kina Snoop. Those are guys I haven't listened to a lot, so I want to get into the discography.
Interesting. Bubble Komesema also maybe Otile wants to sound different, like spice up his lover boy with a bad boy character. Hit and run Buddha. So the R&B may change over the years. Part of the persons when you are part of that process, you work like Chris Brown and changing the sound.
And let me respond to that. That's exactly what it sounds like, and it sounds terrible doing it. Wow, Nico, like, bro, Havana, this is not you. It's not. This is not.
Interesting. That's Jaiskia. I think kuna time too I just saw the snippet of the song. Siku bother kuicheki. Kafura nimesema I thought I was excited for Ira, but I think the blueprint. Roger said, reject mediocre art. I said, reject contented, not mediocrity.
Alafu, the funny thing is, after listening to Ira Star, I think it was a Sunday, I discovered she's in Kenya. So after nimemsikiza ndo niko like mbona sikusikia hii wikwana. Mbona sikusikia this wikwana. And you know, this is different from the MW experience. I had a similar experience once. So when I was in bado nikiwa campus, this was a long time, my friend comes to me akaniambia, because I used nilikuwa napenda rap back then, akaniambia yo Abe, niko na these tickets, Nasty C is in Nairobi. Ushasikia Nasty C? So me in my mind niko like, Nasty C, another Nigerian artist, Afropop. I'm not into that because mwenye ananirecomendia is he's into Afropop and all that. Like yeah, but not like I'm do unaweza mpenda, niko na free ticket in case unataka mbadi upea tu mse mwingine. So see, I missed that. Niyo ilikuwa after Strings and Bling album imetokea. Alafu after a while, I don't know how, nikasikiza NDA ya Nasty C, niko like, oh, this is artist named dope. So nikaanza ku get into his discography nini. Shock nikaambia mse, so anaitwa Ayub, nikamwambia Ayub, kuna artist anaitwa Nasty C. Akaniambia alikuwa amejam. Buda zinikwambia Nasty C, nikamwambia niambia Nasty C lini, akaniko nilikuwa like nilimiss the opportunity. So yeah, so you're gonna feel like one of those days, but she'll be back. She's 19. She still has a few years to tour Africa. Atarudi na nitakuwa na pesa hiyo time.
Na Kafuri amesema she had a concert last week.
Yeah, the next time.
Before tuambie what you are looking forward to is the following coming 8 days usha mention. Ukisema look forward to venye inaisha. Kuna something that you brought up ukiongelea kama ni Boiti na concept ya EP yake, kama ni Sakodie, kama ni the other rappers that you listened to and the flow of their EPs ama albums ama projects in terms of you kutokuwa na cohesion. Kitu yenye imehappen pia as you spoke about Stogie T, but on the other end of the spectrum wana an idea that inakuwa executed vizuri. Kitu disikiza day 17 ndio what ilikuwa part of our gossip na Kakusha juu ina tie in the same thing ya having cohesive thoughts ama a line of consciousness that ina flow from the beginning till the end of a project. It's something that we may bring up for our reviews, something that we may bring up kwa hizi live sessions, kitu that tumeongelea mara kibao sana. Hata kuna time tukiongelea albums na projects of 2020 nikiwa na Kakusha hapa, nikiwa na Hazel na Edna, ili kama hapa ni whether watu ujali kuhusu cohesion kwa kisikiza projects kuanzia mwanzo till the end. Pia umehitaji ukiongelea R&B projects. So kazi ulisikiza day 17 ilikuwa discussion starter, na this was SVLS ya Ethan Muziki, short versions, long stories. And sentiment ya Abe ilikuwa Ethan sounds like an artist who's still trying to find their voice on this album. Thematically, this project was all over the place, but the production was not too shabby. You could be forgiven for mistaking this for a Nviri project. So short versions, long stories, based on kile nimesema, how important should your cohesion thematically be for a listener, ama how that important kwako as a listener, ya how everything ina tie together na why is it important kwako, then unaweza tie in context ya hii album specifically considering pia the title, because that's something that ilikuwa to get into na Kakusha but we didn't get to discuss it.
Yeah, so I think I've grown up on rap, so I don't know how it is for other genres, but for rap, albums are considered something like it's a heavy thing. It's a sacred thing. Like if you're putting out an album, this is a body of work that is going to be out there for critique and all that. That's how we talk about classics and all this. So growing up on rap, my view on albums has always been, if it's not saying like there has to be a structure to an album, before to an album, it has to be well thought out, the ideas, the themes, the sequencing of the songs, the album cover art, like everything has to tie to whatever unasema called the album. No. So if you grow up on rap like I did, that's you always, and that's why for as rap fans, we're more excited about albums other than singles. No. And probably why a few rappers will never get into the Billboard charts, because rap is not really about whether it's catchy. Well, the replay value go up, but then it's more of what you're saying in the album. The whole theme in the album, how you've tied to it, how your writing is, how you tell the whole story. So even when listening to other albums like R&B and all that, it's hard to kutoa your bias. Yeah. Yeah, this is R&B, so maybe the genre doesn't call for this kind of layered patterns, layered writing in it we expect in rap. Maybe this is country, maybe it's different. And maybe R&B, R&B, they're just there for the vibes. But for rap, I'm not there for the vibes only. I want to hear what you're saying, or how you're saying it, or how you sound, or how like the whole project come together. So when I'm listening to these albums, I'm like, okay, that's the first thing I'm looking at. And maybe it's not a big thing, especially for maybe R&B, soul and stuff, because sometimes for R&B, like I said, it sounds like a compilation of different songs, different periods of time, unaeka together. But then I feel like when it comes to an album, there has to be some thought around it. Other kama tu is just putting songs together, at least the sequencing, iko and all that. So when I was looking at Ethan's what's it called?
Album.
Album. The moment when I say it's an album, I'm like, okay, so there's something I'm expecting. For R&B, I'm expecting a consistency in how you sound, consistency in the vocals. Maybe unaweza experiment, but it has to make sense with what you're saying or what the song sounds like. And then for Ethan, I think naisikia were like, in short stories, something long versions. How many long versions or short stories? Yeah.
Short versions, long stories.
Yeah. Kuna different. Kuna some I talk about love. Kuna some I talk about politics and poverty. Kuna that song about there. Kuna another song I talk. It's very different. So in terms of themes, you could like, okay, maybe this was meant to be, maybe nafaa kuzisikiza individually, unaona, but as a project, and considering venye hizo ngoma zinaisha, they're very short songs, which is okay, fine, I agree. Yeah, they're short songs, like 2 minutes, alafu zinaisha like aya. That's very abrupt. So in that part, I'm part of. But then in terms of themes and what he's talking about, iko all over the place. So the man is in terms of themes, iko all over the place. Alafu in terms of how he sounded, it wasn't consistent. Kuna some songs he sounds good according to me, and there's some songs you can like, okay, I'm gonna try this sound and it doesn't work. And then there are some songs when I actually thought ilikuwa ni very album. Because at some point you have to una pause nikafikiria maybe ameficha Niviri ama because ana sound tu kama Niviri. But I wasn't sure about that because I don't know who started singing first. So, but of course, me nimesikia Niviri before nisikize Ethan, so that would ndasema hivyo. But maybe alianza before Niviri or anything, so I'm not too sure about him. But yeah, so I judge albums as a rap fan, which is unfair. But then it's also hard to let go of that bias because for me, albums ni kitu, like before to album, like hata when ni rapper, like toa EP mpaka ukwe ready for an album. Ama toa mixtape mpaka ukwe ready for an album. Because ukitoa album, unaita album, man, tutai criticize ka Sakodi. Sakodi angita album yake iko sawa. Yeah.
Kafura anasema for R&B thematic cohesion works also, and there are artists to do this well. I think hata ndio kile nilimention nikisema sometimes tutakuwa na a general idea and then kuna songs that will work to fit for that idea. Then Kakura anasema then there is the aspect of wiring lyrics on whatever spectrum to deliver on the theme. If you are not keen, it might not sound like there is any thematic cohesion. And sijui if nani Babo anauliza kama if it's a bad thing ya kukuwa na themes nyingi ama Babo, please clarify, alafu ndio Eb ashare sentiments zake on the same, but na get kile Kafura anasema, and kuna sometimes which ni kitu that pia si mention sana juu imekama up. Kuna in fact most of the albums that we've listened to is there any one that stringed a concept from start till the end for rappers? Ni rare.
I think I don't think there's an album. Well, Stogiti does that, but I don't think.
For the project that we review on our channel, you mostly inakuanga and kuna sometime back I was reading an article that ilikuwa inaongelea thematic albums and ilikuwa thematic hip hop albums, na nilishare when I read it back on Facebook juu ilikuwa na ni bother at the time pia, and it has for years, idea ya flowing kuanzia mwanzo till the end, building on a narrative and an idea that umechoose wewe mwenyewe as an artist. Hakuna mtu amekuchagulia theme ya kufocus, hakuna mtu amekwambia tell story fulani alafu ifike place unaiacha. Ni wewe umedecide kile unataka kurap about, then why is it hard for you to maintain it? And so the article ilikuwa na break down the different sorts of thematic albums. So thematic generally, kulikuwa na thematic narrative driven, kulikuwa na thematic conceptual. So kuna a number of albums, The Roots, I think Undone, of course you have Kendrick na Good Kid, Mad City, and we've talked about this now. Tume ongelea over Kendrick over and over na kusema how amazing he is at making albums. So and executing them, there's enough flow from start till the end. So hiyo ni kitu niufikiria sana, and even before nikuwe live a few hours ago nilikuwa nafikiria kuhusu, I was thinking about it in the context of Chris Kaiga whom tumereview na Adventures of Chris Kaiga yenye Robbie alisikia day one, and Robbie akiwa hapa next week tutamuuliza maswali, but hata wewe pia but the reason ni when an artist picks a title for their album ama a theme ni hao wenyewe amechagua, which you don't have to. Well, I was thinking about that, ikanikumbusha wada ya Suicide, idea ya hiyo healing of a nation that come up kwa the album, na ni wewe umechagua the concept lakini inakuwa very muddled. So hebu jibu kwanza Babu before nisome the other comments.
Mistaking them for the song. Yeah, well, it's not bad, but I'd feel like, especially for an artist who's just starting, if I wouldn't want to say you sound like Niviri, I'd want you to sound like you. And if I see a lot of your, maybe, I'm not saying Niviri's inspiration in you, then it's very hard for me to see you as your own artist, if that makes sense. Because if I listened, I'd like to, and that's the same problem I had with Nikita Kering's album. As much as it sounds, as much as it sounds good, I can't help but feel like, yeah, this is, I can see a lot of your inspirations growing up, or who you listen to the most in what you're saying. Sometimes it might affect even what you're saying. Because if you sound too much like them and you listen to them, it does affect how you write, in the sense that you'll just be, a clone of this other. and probably it's more evident in especially poetry. I know it's a different conversation, but a lot of ukisikia, like especially Teardrops and Mufasa clones wanakwanga tu like, okay, but this is not you. Unajua, something like that. For music, it's different. For music, it's not different. And for this case, it's not a bad thing, but considering this, I think, is his first project, I would want to know who Ethan is. And if I see Niviri in that, for me, then I'll be like, okay, I'll give you time to get into your own, to discover your own sound. But I hope that you try something that works for you. But I'll experiment, and you could see that, well, at least from my view, you could see that he was trying different sounds, unajua. And there are sounds when he was trying to be something different, it didn't come off quite exactly. But then I see, okay, at least anajaribu something different. So eventually, I hope he gets to that sound. Nimesikia some of his stuff actually recently, some of his writing, and it's really good. Amekuwa release my reels up on Instagram, and it sounds good. Like the writing is good, and I'm like, yes, if I want to hear that in your album, I want to hear this sounds like Ethan. Unajua, I feel like I can relate to you better if it's an original sound, but if it's a borrowed sound, I struggle to relate to you. I guess, yeah, in a nutshell, that's basically it. I'll find it easier to relate to you if it's an original sound, or if I feel it's original, other than if it sounds exactly or a carbon copy of someone else.
Hiyo pia ni part of, I believe, hiyo journey ya msanii kuanza na kusound kama mtu fulani na kufind your footing and releasing project, unaweza tell ikijireveal. So kwa this album, did it have personal stories? Sijaisikia yet, but I'm sure based on the title, the artist and the genre, najua kuna ngoma za mapenzi, but were there personal sentimental songs that were part of the album?
Kulikuwa na personal, kulikuwa na personal stories, but then nikicompare what I had on the album and what he's been releasing recently kwa IG, I like what he's doing on IG, because that feels like maybe the stories I've got are not real, but when I listen to him sing, I'm like, yeah, like I actually feel like I like you as an artist now. So I just want to see this, and but we also had this conversation, like sounding good on IG, ama doing covers, ama like me is different when it comes to making.
Yes.
And you know, look at my problem with Barbara and the whole short EP. No, like as like unajua covers and all, she sounds amazing, but then when it comes to like creating a whole song and a whole project, it just sounds very different. Takes nothing from you as an artist, because it's a learning process. They get better, maybe they don't, but we just have to stay hopeful and feel, and hope we'll get to that point.
Ajua kwenye irauka yuko ameamka. Kwenye irauka yuko sasa imerauka. Utamwona hapa ina feel. So Babu, not Babu, Kafura kunasema, for example, Emily Sanders' Long Live the Angels on surface sounds like a whatever, but when you listen to it collectively, you will hear Emily's talking about being hurt and looking for a savior because she feels like she is drowning. I would like to say more, but nimechoka kutype. And then Babu anasema, not just albums, shows. Kendrick in terms of creativity closely comes to Beyonce. Is wildly good, a genius even. Maybe that's why the one song they have outdid and that's why the one song they have outdid an entire award show. Keilama. So on the same, kwa albums versus EPs, of course ushasema unapea albums unaziplace on a higher pedestal, unafeel unazipea kipaumbele as a listener, something that artists pia wanafaa kuwa wanafanya. Between an album and an EP, where do you think msanii ako na more leeway ya ku play around sound wise na thematically, and which medium allows for more precision ama we expect more precision from?
I think it can go both ways, but this is what I mean. And I'll use the Kendrick example. Like Kendrick has reached a point where he can experiment on the album and it will still sound good. Unaona? So it just depends on where you are as an artist. Then there are artists wenye wamefika hiyo point ya mastery yenye a different sound on an album will still sound good regardless of whether an experiment or not, because they've done it for so long, ama they've mastered the art of creating albums such so in a car, like it doesn't sound like experimenting, it sounds like this is just a different sound, and it was like okay, it doesn't take anything away from the album. If anything, it just adds to the diversity of the album. But if you're just starting out, and this is what I normally say, at least for rappers, when it comes to rapping, give us an album when we want an album. Unajua, do usikuwe na catalog ya 15 albums and no one asks for an album, unless your goal as a rapper or as an artist is just to make albums. You don't really care who wants to listen to them or not. No. So when it comes to an artist who's just starting out, I would feel if you're still experimenting, throw out mixtapes or EPs. I'll just throw them out, try different sounds, and for example, the album I Rasta's EP is 13 minutes long. It's 4 songs, different topics, but I wasn't too keen about no John. Nico like, it's fine. I'm not really judging the EP harshly. What I just want to hear from the EP is, what can I tell about this artist? Do you a good voice? Una experiment? How is your writing? How do you sound? I can pick a few things. But then when it comes to now putting it all into an entire album, of course, I value highly. Then, unless you master your craft to the point where you're comfortable with trying a different sound, then fine. Like, if Kendrick, but again, it can also work other ways. Like, Kendrick, he's top of the morning, let's get this shit. And if I on his album, ningezima your kid. So, so it can go both ways. But I don't think he would ever do that on his album. Like his body of work, I don't think angefanya hivyo. So it goes both ways. But I feel like for upcoming artists to invest, for people who mastered their craft, the same.
Mathematic precision.
Well, I think I'm starting to accept the fact that we
easier for an album or more difficult, or easier for an EP or more difficult.
It's more difficult for an album. Like because an album is a I would assume these days you don't know, because nimesikia some albums kwa MW ni 20 minutes long, but it's more difficult for an album because you need a lengthier project, and so for you to be able to keep the same all through, itakuwa ngumu. And now that we're speaking about it, like kitambo, when people are making albums, ama hata these days they still do it, kuna kwanga na themes, alafu kuna kwanga na the single for the album. And sometimes, for most times, the single, ama the song they decide to be the single, has no correlation with the album. It's just a song to get people hype and ready for the album. So if that's your route, and you're not mostly for pop stars, I don't know.
It's a formula that you make Sanaa internationally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I've not seen that a lot in rap, and the only people I've seen do it in rap ni Drake, Eminem. Kina 50 used to do it. Kina Wiki,
Dre, Wheezy, Tupac, Biggie.
Yeah. So inafanyika. But then you realize that like your recovery, Eminem, like singles zake. No, but actually the singles zake zilikuwa na make sense to what he was saying.
Very copy.
Yeah, zilikuwa very copy.
You lie.
Yeah. But then, now that I think about it, then I speak to the same thing. In recovery, now that I think about it, So but najaribu nataka Drake. Drake is the perfect example. Unaona kama Scorpion alikuwa na ile Kiki do you love me, alafu alikuwa na ile sample ya Lauryn Hill, unaona, and then ukisikiza the album kuna some other stuff that go into. So I think for an album it's very difficult because it's long, but then we're not really expecting you to do that for 15 songs. Kutakuwa na songs zenye itafika point where we just want to listen to a different sound, unajua, alafu get back to the theme. But only Kendrick, I don't know how Kendrick does it. I don't know how he does it because hiyo kusema kweli yani anafaa kuwa case study, like anafaa kuwa whole course in himself. How he does it is still amazing. So it's difficult for an album to keep the whole theme. For an EP, you can get, I don't think it matters because you can get away with anything. After all, it's just an EP.
Junaonanga watu ya approachable sana, whereby wanatumia chant ya EP, especially since it's an introductory project. Msanii anaamua itumie for telling different stories with different songs na different sounds as well, na kuna ati moving from one point to another. We review a number of EPs, and the comment that tumekuwa tukisema ni an EP is shorter, so it gives you a more possible na plausible chance na state yawe kuwa more precise than an album. Album, umesema length here. When you have 3 songs, it's so easy for you to say what you want in those 3 songs and be precise within 10 minutes, 12, 15, na useme kilongedai kusema. So kuna a number of views on the same. Acha to catch up na what you're saying. Of course, Kafura muuliza utaki album na top of the morning. I think why people might sound different on covers and originals is because originals need you to tear yourself down, then build up, and artists fear that in terms of what you are saying now, you are honest, not telling your story, being yourself. I think covers are already created and just bring your shine. That's it. Wanna bring in voice yako. So Benny, any last things kuhusu this coming week ya MWE? Uko na list yako ama ni random bado?
Ni random. Kesho nenda na click on Ladipo, nasema similar artists, alafu nione. But nataka kujaribu from the north of Africa. I don't know, I can't elewa, but I just want to see how it makes me feel. Najaribu to get like 2 albums from there. I'd want to listen to a Tanzanian album from one of the big boys. Nione kama matatu inadanganya ama
singers ama rappers.
I singers, rap. I don't even think I want to listen to another rap album. Nimechoka.
Ungekuwa kwa review zetu. Unaona album kwa ile link. Alafu, do you want rappers on insist on having long albums, an hour plus, as in?
I think sina kwamba tu ni venye tu vetli grow up. Unajua hata wewe ukigrow up albums zilikuwa vitu lengthy, unajua.
Zilikuwa long.
So hiyo ni kitu. Yeah.
Time is different, and obviously album yenye ni 1 hour long, guaranteed utakuwa na very many deep moments nyingi. Wewe lazima utamiss.
No, unafaa kuwa like a certain caliber of artist. Ndio ufike hiyo point unasema, especially for a rapper, ufike hiyo point unasema na release album. Ndio maana nilikuwa very critical of Ska kwa hiyo review. Like one, caliber of artist, 2, it's hakuna kitu unasema, unacheki. Yes, your side ilikuwa long, hafu na shanga, but then again, at least I got. But I think one thing nimeogopa the most, like the one thing that I've had to reflect on with all this experience, I think it's conversations we had with Robbie before. So kuna hii fear you will never outdo this album, or kuna every artist uko nayo, like this album you go back to, like unaona, like regardless of what Kendrick does, mimi nitakuwa nasema it can't beat to be Good Kid, Mad City. Unaona, cause kuna hiyo feeling nilikuwa nayo, regardless of what Mac Miller puts up. Okay, yeah, after Peter Swimming na all these albums that came after, I didn't Swimming tu stick na mimi, unaona, na kuna watu mpaka sahi they don't listen to Eminem unless it's Slim Shady, and that's like 20 years down the line. And what are very critical of that. Now it brings something as well, because even though I critique music and albums, I haven't performed in a while, but I perform sometime in April. So I haven't been on. I perform, but I go online, and it's not the same. But na perform in April. It's the first time I'm going to be on stage after like 2 years of not performing. But every time napatana na watu wanakukumbusha, unakumbuka ile show, unakumbuka ile event enye ulifanya hii piece ilikuwa deadly, ulifanya, and that was 2 years ago. That's before the pandemic hit, unaona. So it and pay off here, like, is this going to be another case of nikikuinvite kwa show yangu utoko na expect that kind of Abe, but in 2 years so much has happened, unaona, that I won't be the same Abe mwenye alikuwa natoa hiyo piece. So much has changed, so my writing, and so has my writing and my experiences, so whatever I'm going to say is going to be totally different, unaona. And that's what rappers wanna experience. So hata niko like, are they going to accept this new version of Abe, ama itakuwa like, hii piece ni kali, but sufanye ile piece yako, unacheki ina neglect. Leo ndo kitu nimekam ku appreciate. So hata leo especially ni hit after listening to Ladipo, niko like, why am I trying so hard to make this album something it's not, or make this artist someone he's not? Maybe he's not, maybe rap is, this is what he wants to do with his rap, no. So who am I to tell him this could be better? Maybe that's the best inanipatia. Alafu kuna hiyo disparity ya, maybe I'll never listen to another Ira Star album and it beat my first experience. So does that make her any less of an artist? So it may be a different perspective into how I'm looking into this as a critique. Alafu it may reaffirm my fears, like, do I really want to perform? Because at the end of the day, it's like, kuna hiyo thought in the back of your mind, like, I'd want an audience, but do I want an audience in 2 years ago? Most likely there'll be those people, but every time unapana mtu na kuremind, hiyo piece ilikuwa kali, uko like, but unajua, sometimes unaangalia unasema, really I don't like it anymore, because unajua, like, you listen, you read some of your pieces, like, man, nilikuwa nasema nini, ama this was a period of my life where I don't want to relive again. So it may bring a lot, like, critiquing and reviewing the albums, it may bring a lot of my fears back. Alafu pia and a lot of well, aksidhani kuna any positives in terms of of penye naenda, but hopefully to get into that. But the whole experience of just listening to an album a day and purposefully listening to an album I've not listened to, an artist I would never have listened to initially, is something I'd want to explore, because as you might find 10 bad albums, but kuna 3 is that stick out, and I'm there for those 3, unaona, and we try again until we get another 3 of the same. So all in all, experience imekuwa fiti, imekuwa amazing.
Amazing sana kutoka Mr. A Babu. When time comes, mtajua gani na perform art, mtapata the details. Nasema ni April. Si April ama May?
Itakuwa
April na May.
Ni April, hata bado iko confirmed.
And that time comes, information tutapata. So now that tuko na Eda hapa, kabla uishie, unaweza tupea your recommendation kama uko nayo. Na ni wewe utaamua if you're keeping it Kenyan ama you're keeping it African.
Yo.
Don't decide.
Mimi nimepata leo opportunity, naweza sema USA and recommend Lil Baby.
this was coming. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, today I have the power. By the power invested in me. I decide. No, this is just any Kenyan. But anyway, African artist. Hata Kenya ni Africa, so anything goes. Anything goes leo.
So kama uko na any, unaweza tuambia sahi ama kwa comments when utafeel able. If you have one, you can share. If not, thank you so much for joining us. Kuna prepare for a shoot and what not.
Sasa niko sawa. Sasa nataka kulala niamke. Bado nitalala. Bado niko na but si hectic ni. Nimesikiza album gani pia?
Umefanya MW wiki nzima, umesikia albums kadhaa.
Kuna
Shit na a song from one of those.
Nimesahau hiyo ngoma nataka kusikia, but anyway I'll go back and look at it alafu ndio recommend.
Ni sawa.
Unaweza recommend album?
Hapana.
But anyway, off the record, Togi.
Usha recommend Stogi, so.
Yeah. Sawa lakini
hata joining us na kushare experience yako ya MWE. Hopefully tutamaliza after next week, then tukuje tuone the culmination with the other peeps na other guests as well, tusikie from their end na experiences zao. That has been from Abe. The first week tukiongelea MWE tulisikia from Babu, and we're just having fun with these experiences. So shukran sana Abe for joining us na for sharing with us this morning.
Ngoja kuna effect fulani nilicheki hapa last time before ni exit.
Utakutumia?
Ngoja. Ilikuwa disco bana, ilikuwa lights. Sioni bana.
Ayoni.
Hizi vitu ni kali.
At least kwa space, we are giving you the chance to explore effects on live.
Hizi effects ziko there.
Unlike R&B albums.
Unajua effect anikumbusha nini? Bitch, be humble. Sit down. Bitch, be humble. Sit down. Sasa nitafutia disco kwanza. Hii ni gani?
Yeah.
Hii ni Awada. Hii inanikumbusha Awada.
But see kwa nini? Another kind of video ilikuwa Element. Kulikuwa na msako na moto kwa kichwa. Ni Element.
I think so near. But I keep it local. Ndo hiyo.
Ndio hiyo.
This is if you listen to Lil Baby. Imetosha kwa leo. Yes, Kafura, yes.
Toka hapo the Spotify. Pata jina ya ngoma urudi type kwa comment section.
Sasa ngoja mtu ana exitaji kitu. Nifinye tu X ndio. Nimeipata.
Man. We are always having amazing sessions. Mimi nawaambia, yani the space that is Sanaa kwa Sanaa on this online platform world. We are literally the best. Yani, I am being as absurd as rappers who call themselves the best, literally. As if I am here, as if I know every content creator alive and what they're doing with their spaces. I am having that absurd audacity ya kusema we are the best. I have learned from rappers. Sorry, Babu, up until this point, you have not defunded the rappers yet. so I am learning from them. Hii space tuko in, we are the best. Kafura, history ya hizi effects za IG ni familia. Najua umekuwa na memories on Eva ameifanya. I know. Mwanze kuleta recommendations basi. Mimi naweza recommend nyimbo nyingi, zitakuwa tu rock songs. Zitakuwa ngoma za rock. Let me first see my MWE. I know I'm picking from which album, but just to confirm. Juzi mtu aliitwa someone the great and I define spoken word artist. Beef na rappers, beef na spoken word artists. What the? Kapura, what happened or what did not happen? Uh, 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 uh. Oof, oof, oof. Okay. So recommendations zikuja sasa as we are plotting how to defund artists. The Hazel, asante sana. Ulisema uko exhausted mentally tukianza live, but you stayed with us through. Shukran sana for being here. Tumeka hapa for 2 hours and 47 minutes. Nakuambia. Only here, right? We had the best. We the best. Kafura, is DJ Khalid also forgettable? Hazel, shukran sana. Go take your rest. Usikae na mazombi. Babo pia ako sleep deprived but ako hapa. Shukran sana. Abe ilikuwa lale akuenda shoot asubuhi. Shukran sana. Hizi najua si time za Kafura. Sijui Kafura bado alikuwa amesoma. Asante sana. Yani, I'm extremely grateful. Extremely grateful. Sana. I know the person Kafura is talking about. You know the spoken word artist who is, is making us say, Nini, defund the spoken word artist. Kulikuwa na a spoken word event recently. Which one is this? Ama ilisema for another forum. So we are defending everybody. Oh, ilikuwa tusomea comment nikasahau ya Kafura akiambia Abe asikize Tanzanian female singers or female musicians. Listen to the female artists in Tanzania. They are better poets than the men. You know what's interesting? I've always had this idea ya explore how female creatives write and how male creatives write. I've always noted certain differences in the way they express themselves. Na nilikuwa nataka nitumie the Kenyan spoken word scene as my case study ama my basis. Very interesting that you say this. Hazel, enda upumzike. Tushamaliza. Some of us pia hata tujalala lakini the morning ahead, yani just looking at staring at me with the many videos I need to edit and shoot. But whomst am I? Yeah, sleep deprived. It's not equal to sleepy. Okay. Sleepy is the wrong time to use on Babo. Mm. Yani Babo na Kafura ako na information yenye hatuna hapa. Ah. So the person alikuwa introduced as the great by a spoken word artist. Is that the case? Let me write these recommendations from Stogie kutoka kwa Abe to Hazel, then the other recommendations will come through. Stogie T. Mm. As I type this, mm. Watu wana rant tu hapa. Niliendi kurant watu wangu. Imagine ukisahau DJ Khaled anaweza shout kwa dreams zako. We the best, nigga. How dare you forget me? I'm so good. Anze kukumbusha hits zake. Who is someone who was called someone the great, and who called that someone the great? Important question. So so Hazel alisema Falamini by Frida Amani, then Mechanism Coping by Luno Da Vinci. Featuring Renaissance Man. Haya. Then Kafura akasema jina lake ni Leikon. Is that the way it's pronounced? Ama is the C an S sound? God body. Say he is I and I am him. Solo. Motherfuck the government. Motherfuck the media. Babu amesema Jumadi Jangolo. Babu alireview Ereo for MWE this past week. just as I told Kafura kuhusu kuona brand minor, pia aende wasikie comments zangu huko nikichota hiyo EP. Babu pia nimwambia ende wane review yangu ya Jumaa. This year, leo jana kwa reviews tumesema our mission ni kufika 1k subscribers. Therefore, spread the gospel, spread the word. Subscribe, subscribe tena. Obviously doesn't help. But hiyo ndo mishoni. We'll take a hiatus until tufike 1k subscribers, not rudi kazi tena. Otherwise, you've done so much work. Go give us the numbers. But we don't care about numbers. Then we are contradicting ourselves because tumelearn kutoka rappers. In review area for MW. Interestingly, Babu, I reviewed area for MWE last year. Yes, day 6 or 7. 6 or 7. I think I did Nina Ogot, then Jumadi, or vice versa. He once talked about my country. I was going to Google about my own people. Hey, these people we're talking about. No, the spoken word artist's name is The Great. Oh, his first name escapes me. But the nonsense he spit on stage, machos. Oh, someone the Great. Alexander the Great. I thought, nikodhani, nimeunderstand. Juzi mtu aliitwa someone the Great. Define spoken word artist. Define every artist. Apply to many. Nyisi rappers. Isheni mlale sasa. Endeni mlale. You can now go and think. Can I say his name? Babu. You decide. Amua. This happened once. Nikiwa live on my other account, Teki Freestyle. And then, Karim, who's been kwa platform pia a number of times before, alikuwa nasema na freestyle better than someone. So, that happened. And at first, nikisoma the original comment, nilisoma wrongly. So what I did, venye nilisoma Karim akani correct, akaniambia hapana, namaanisha this and this. So kurudi back to the comment, nika understand kile alikuwa anasema. Na I think I joked asking Karim whether I should read the comment. Nimwambia, unajua hii on record, akaniambia isoma. But as a joke, alikuwa anasema alikuwa anasema hii ni fire hapa. Alitika nika emoji za fire hapa kaa hatoshi. Fire kaa hatoshi. Something along those lines. So kumbe alikuwa mimi nilisoma ilikuwa wrongly. So alikuwa anasema ni moto kala moto, ni fire kala moto hatoshi. That was the comment. So what has just happened imenikumbusha that same moment. Yeah, of course. Kafura, obviously the safe space, obviously. Since when have we become an uncensored platform? The day tutaanza kulipwa na corporations, ni usiku tutaanza hizo vitu. Tuli review Hennessy Cypher, tukasema Hennessy if they are watching watutafute. So kama mnajua watu wa Hennessy, you can ask them watutafute watulipe. So tukishaanza kulipwa, tunaweza anza kusensor vitu tunasema. We can start censoring our sentiments and our reviews. So it's all about the bag. The bag, as capitalism has taught us. Nothing else. We are here for the bag. Ukishapata bag, hi. Reviews zitakuwa zinakuja very fast and they'll be very brief. Review ni 5 minutes, kila mse dakika moja, alafu dakika moja ni introduction na conclusion. Today we are reviewing so and so. Aya, done. You're getting the bag and take it, tunaishia. It's all about the bag. So, Baba amesema the name of the poet, no, the spoken word artist. Steve the Great. Simjui. Maybe namjua. Maybe nimemuona. You know what? Let's just Google. Mimi simtambui. Unaweza pata wako wengi. Amejipea jina ya people from a specific lineage. Patikani ba. The Steve the Great that the world knows. Obviously different. And a part of that is also Steve Jobs. Steve the Great. Kafura, please correct me. The first, na nimeona picha yake, the first person I thought about ni Steve that used to be kwa literature department at UON. Is it the same one? Sijui kama unamkumbuka. Is it the same one? His name is Jinxed. Hennessy Cypher 3 was just machos. Tunapea Kafura trauma. Hennessy Cypher tulireactia leo jana morning. We just need the Hennessy bag. Then we experience Steve the Great. Yo. We are here as viewers. We'll let Sanaa deal with the lawsuits. Nawaona sana. Most times he speaks very wild things, but his people hype him. Isn't that the entire art scene? Isn't this this is a hype party, si kitu ingine. This is a hype party. So mimi nitawapea recommendations za Rush, Animal Man, a song by Rush. Nitawaambia I have a number of songs from one album that I'd really love to recommend. I can pick two because I've featured them kwa mziki ya wiki. So mimi kwa kisikia Kenyan rock, watu wangu, and Kenyan metal. I've been enjoying MWE. Ooh, okay. So I'll recommend Garden ya Mayonde after Animal Man by Rush. It's a song whose name I'm forgetting by Power Slide. See you in snakes in your heart. I think that's the snakes in your heart. And I correct if it's wrong. Mm, 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 mm. I'll give you two metal songs. The first one, A Great Escape, featuring David of last year's Tragedy na Sam Warash. And the next one is In Your Wake by Danjuma and Rish. Hizi ni metal songs. Mtazisikia kwa the playlists. Sasa watu sasa waende walale wenye wanalala, na wenye bado wako rada. My phone is about to die. We could keep this going actually. It's 2:20. It's only 2:20 to make up for 3 hours and 6 minutes. Haya, that's been that. Shukran sana for being here. Shukran sana for your time. Tumekuwa na another brilliant session mara ingine. Next week ka tutapata Robi, Roger, Mbunge, we can have our final session ya ku celebrate MWE. I do hope Babo will be here na Abe. So depending on the time, if tutaifanya earlier, najua Babo won't be here because yuko na live around the same time. If itakuwa later, najua they will come through for us. With that being stated, acha nisome hizi comments za mwisho. Abe, is your comment about metal artists and Kenyan rock bands? Ama unaongelea ama unaongelea wasanii wenye wanasikiza spoken word artists na hawezi sikiza Lil Baby? Maana kukemea hapa kwa recommendations za Lil Baby. I watched him twice. The Wild Things, I don't mind. But on Thursday specifically, then he performed something about drugs or alcohol, and I almost went on stage to grab the mic from him. Wasanii wa spoken word like, hey, hata bila ku-experience the performance, I can just tell how devastated na agitated Kafura alikuwa. Na Babo pia akisema aliongelea watu wake ikafanya kwenda kufanya research na Google. Wasanii wa spoken word enye defund them. I think at this point defunding them includes not giving them platform. Because utaona maneno. Mimi nishawaambia hapo mara kadhaa, nilichoka na the artworm kitambo sana. Just watch from the sidelines. Eb, I see your point. Juu nacheki Babo enye I'm still Lil Baby, lakini mnasema let it be a different Steve please, because we can't have multiple Steves causing havoc. The big question, the big Q is, yes, there can be many Steves, but how many Steve the Greats do we have? Hiyo ndio swali. How many Steves can be great? Sijui the artist, I could, but at this point sijui. Sina any Steve the Great kwa akili yangu. Ama that najua as a performer. So Abe not handle hizi lawsuits on Sanaa kwa Sanaa's behalf. Mimi nasoma maoni. Mimi I am just reading comments zilizoandikwa. Nimesema tukiget the bag hata hizi comments nitakuwa naziblock from this comment section. But because I am broke, I'm poor and still niko confined na invisible hands of capitalism. Invisible hands, the hands referring to Charles Dickens. But how invisible are they anyway in this age? But you get the point. What do they get the point? Mm. Wild things I don't mind because I can laugh them off as stupid shit. But people who combine punchlines, poorly written lines to force rhyme and call it poetry are just disrespectful. Baba ukasema, oh, yeah, inakamata pala, I guess. Lakini this, you know, ndio maana whenever I refer to the art form, I am constantly insistent on calling them spoken word artists and not poets. Juu, hiyo si poetry. Hiyo si poetry. Na for years nimekuwa keen on not even calling myself a poet because na understand the art form na naheshimu hiyo art form sana to even call myself poet while I feel na qualify. Nika ukijiita the best as we have because we've learned from rappers. Nyaje, ukijiita the best, every other person in that field ako part of you calling yourself the best and that superlative comparison. So similarly, I'm a poet. Literally. Every poet who's ever written and every poet we know to exist. No, at some award show. Aya. At an award show. We, Kafura na Babu, umekuja hapa kunidevastate. Tumemaliza show on a high na Abe, alafu nyinyi hapa Jomski Lil Baby, all you can talk about are spoken word artists who write poorly. Alafu sasa mna affect mood ya hii live. Mnaona sasa vitu mnafanya. Mnaona vitu mnatufanyia. It's 2:26. We should be, for those of us who are married, hi, Babu. For those of us who have people to hold when it gets cold, mko sorted. In fact, mko in bed watching a live at 2 a.m. For some of us, tuko hapa, we are sleeping alone. As in, alafu mnakuja hapa kuharibia mood juu mnaongelea spoken word. In Irauka's voice, tunadu. Nimalize nitoke hata hapa sasa. Hebu waambie, the artist you tolerate, but Lil Baby is where you draw the line. Name and place, lunch on me, ndo mwongele nani sana. Mwongele Lil Baby. Haya basi. Kafura shakwambia na kuenjoy tu. It's somewhat good. The one for actors. Okay. Hey, it seems there was something happening somewhere na kuna watu walifanya mavitu. He talks out of his ass. No context, no research, nothing, just vibes. And inshallah, vibes and inshallah. Abe, I also love Lil Baby. Sankara on Sunday, open day buffet. Breakfast to 7 p.m. cocktails. Thanks. Abe, you have a date. You have a date. Yo, tunaweza plan, just just a hangout, you know, ya watu kukaa na kuchill, watu wenye tunakuanga kwa hizi sessions, and just plan something to link up, to chill. Idea imenihit when Babu amemake the comment, you know. Yes, Kafura amesema see you on the 12th of March at Lavalate at 5 p.m. for show yake. 20-something monologues, thoughts of being a 20-something-year-old. Candid thoughts and monologues. Babu, not so far. I should have to fill in a questionnaire. Don't qualify. Tuta pull up kama nyongi nyo. Na kama ni roses to deliver kama domino. Tukuje mfurai mbanjuke kama jomino. Na vile Romi usema yen kushow the love because ni tenzi siyo nomino. Oh, tuweke beats tuanze live ingine saa hii. This is happening again. Interestingly, another moment here, easy coincidences na random occurrences kualign. Last time tukiwa na Babu hapa, kulikuwa na moment where nianza freestyle nikimaliza. We were just coming from speaking about MWE. The same thing has happened. Tukiwa na Abe. Anyway, mtu asiwahi sema huwa sisikizi Lil Baby. Kwanza juzi kaje dalimwaredi hapa. Ndio maana nakwambia Kafura amekuwa na traumatic experiences. DJ Khaled na Lil Baby, Hennessy Cypher, mara Big Sean kuwa unforgettable, Steve the Great. Wow, this is bad. Every single time you see a spoken word artist performing at any government sponsored event, no can it be recommended them. Okay. I'm not even in touch, so I wouldn't even know. But now we know. As Irauka says, if you know. Pendi hiyo statement. Hebu anza na roho na malizia na mwili. Tuma questionnaires. Hiyo basi yako no. Babu, the event ni free on the 12th March. It's a Saturday. I'll send you a post after this. Voila. Kisha ikifika time ya Abe na performances zake, atakuja atuambie ama tutashare the posters za show yake if iko open. Obviously Babu akiwa na shughuli, tunakuja hapa tunashare the poster, take and the information very fast. Robi ana plan something. When that time comes, we'll do something, whatever itakuwa, kama ni just sharing the information. Vyovyote vile. Shukran sana kwa kuwa hapa. 3 hours and 18 minutes. Now it's our time to leave. It's our time to depart as they let the music take you out. Shukran sana. Beyond that, hizi words nasema can capture for being here, spending your time and giving us another beautiful Sana kwa Sana Sunday session experience. Tuonane wiki ijayo. Kama ni freestyles, that will be Friday. Kama ni for these sessions, itakuwa Sunday and Monday depending on the time. Watu wangu ni asubuhi, but najua as long as kuna giza ni good night. So shukran sana. Na Useda amekuja tukimaliza, so until next time, hii imekuwa beautiful sana. Tuchekiane.